For the children.
It's for the children. We can only let them out of the dungeon once we get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. They're dying. So every subscription that you leave on the YouTube channel helps get those children out of my basement that much faster. Exactly. Beautiful. What the fuck was that? Oh my god. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 69 of the Thought Patrol podcast.
69.
Holy shit.
69!
we got
Oh yeah.
we got a fucking we got a banger for you all today. One the world renowned 5 Grammy winning segment Kyle Ruins is returning this week. And me and Nancy are going to take turns sharing this beautiful love story I found that's totally not shitty fan fiction smut that was on the internet.
I'm so down.
I hope you're excited, Nancy.
Hell yeah. It's episode 69. How am I not excited?
I didn't think about it enough beforehand, so I'm going to do it because we're both actually sitting here and y'all fucks are on the other side of the state. So this is the best way we can do it this time. Usually I just read it by myself anyway, and you guys react. So we'll see what happens when we get closer. I might just read it all myself usually, because then it would be called Kyle Ruins. And I like to ruin things for you guys. A hint, this one is Pokemon themed.
Oh no.
I don't like Pokemon.
I like Pokemon.
Can't really fuck that up.
My childhood.
Shawn, I was so tempted, dude. I found Star Wars. I found...
all the lightsaber dick jokes you could have made, like fuck.
Yeah, dude. I think it was like Darth Vader fucking Luke's ass with a lightsaber, but it turns on by accident, and the only way he could save him is by getting him to orgasm before he dies or some shit, and the Force will do the rest. It sounds like the plot to the new film. So, for all I know, it's the plot to the next Star Wars movie.
It's like that's better writing than what they've used in the last few movies.
Damn.
Oh,
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah, that's a much better plot. Try watching Han Solo. That shit's fucking perverted.
Okay. So let's go. First of all, how y'all been? We're gonna start with weeks. We'll go here and then over the internet. So answer you first. How's it going?
Well, since the week has just started,
last time we recorded like 3 days ago, so it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Okay, well, my weekend was absolutely fan-fucking-tabulous.
Oh, nice. I like that word.
A lot of shit happened.
Good
so,
shit.
And like in the theme of the 69th episode, so just keep that in mind.
A
lot of good stuff happened. But so far this week, going forward, looks like it's going to be a lot of fucking work because I got 8-hour shifts all up until Friday. So It's going to be great. I look forward to that. How about you?
I'm good, but before we go to me, we'll go to Shawn. How are you doing, Shawn?
I've never been better.
Wow, such enthusiasm.
I know, right?
I have reached a new level of wonder. I'm lying. Shit sucks.
Okay.
But with you guys, and that makes me happy.
When does shit not suck though? So.
Things have been good before. Things are just really weird now, and that's what things are. But what's fantastic is this is the 69th episode, and now I am honor bound to fucking tell you guys the story of how I ate ass. So that's a thing.
It's coming. It's coming. We talked about that like 40 episodes ago. I think I know because I remember making the thumbnail. We were talking about a poop story.
Oh my god!
I remember making the thumbnail for the poop story, and I'm like, "This is the episode that Shawn promised he would."
Downed on eating ass, and they're like, "At least none of us have ever done." There's some shit like that, and I was like, "Crickets." And then somebody's like, "Oh, I've got to know this," and then you were like, "Save it for episode 69." Holy shit, And I was like, "Okay, I could do that."
I'm surprised you remembered.
Shawn, I hear you're playing Trove. You better turn that TV down. I hear it. I fucking hear Trove in the background.
How the fuck do you hear that?
You didn't hear that shit?
No.
Because he sits far away from his TV, so he puts the speakers up. Because he plays games while he podcasts. Because he's not invested in growing the show.
No, that just goes to show how high Shawn's IQ is. Yeah. He can
200.
Be fully involved in a podcast and still play games.
It's Trove, and that game can be played by a monkey with his hand glued to the controller, so it really
Shawn
doesn't fucking matter.
Shawn is an amazing human being. You shut your whore mouth.
God damn it.
That's true. Thank you.
I'm glad you're here, Shawn. At least that's what counts. You're here.
I'm always here, and I'm always focused on what we're doing, honky.
Okay. I've remembered occasions where we're like,
except for when I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just leave it at that. But I do remember occasions where we're like, one more time, and I'm like, this man. Oh, I almost said a bad word.
Almost. I heard that shit.
No, I didn't finish the word. Doesn't count. This man. This man's playing video games. No, we're good.
I think Kyle was saying it like this.
I did actually one episode. I did one episode. I had to censor it because that's a bad word.
Nah, we're in the 21st century. It's okay.
Intentionally say it just so you had to censor it.
Yeah. Tyler, you? How about you?
Well, my week's been pretty good. I'm glad to be here on this 69th episode of the Thought Patrol podcast.
Kept your promise.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for working, around all of our schedules for us to be here. I'm sure that was a little difficult. Everyone's freaking time schedule and their own shit they got going on. So I'm glad I managed. I'm currently sitting in my car right now, outside this fire college. So, yeah, this is the only way I can actually be here for the podcast. So I'm talking through my Bluetooth speakers in my car, and it's night out currently. It's kind of rainy. I'm in front of this big spooky tree, and this fucking security guard, this fat ass security guard, this little golf cart keeps driving by. So I'm waiting for him. So guys, if you hear a knock on the door, or you just hear a knock in general at any point, it's probably him knocking on my window and asking me what the fuck I'm doing. So yeah, it's a little creepy though, because I'm waiting for something to pop out the front of my out of the front of this bush that's in front of me and in the tree. This is how a horror movie starts. So if you just start hearing screaming and blood curdling or some shit like that, I don't know, whatever fucking sounds you hear, it's probably me getting.
What exactly does blood curdling sound like?
I don't know.
Nah, just go kick the bush. See what comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah right. So yeah, other than that, my week's been pretty good. So we'll see how this hurricane is, and so I might be pretty busy with work.
Oh yeah, we got a hurricane that might be hitting the Panhandle. The Panhandle, though.
Another one?
Yeah, Michael. Hurricane Michael. Yeah, and the
irony. Halloween.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they thought about that. God damn it.
Fuck yeah.
Michael.
That was pretty good. I thought someone joined the fucking call for a second. I'm glad y'all are doing good. This episode might be a little bit more concise on the bullshit, just because we're trying to hit a certain time frame here. But it will still be a fun-filled, packed episode. Don't turn that dial. We're gonna be having fun. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast.
Did you say meme and potatoes or meat and potatoes?
Meat and potatoes.
Oh.
Hello, the don't turn that dial when
don't turn that dial.
Listening to us more than likely have never seen a dial on a TV.
It's
That's
episode
true.
69, ladies and gents. Everything has to be sexually related. So
Exactly.
Don't
touch that knob.
Potatoes,
Don't touch the knob.
Don't suck that nipple, guys.
Twist that titty.
I'm just kidding. Suck the fucking nipple. What I'm talking about.
Suck the fucking
Nipple. That's what they're for.
Oh, by the way, go watch Big Mouth Season 2. It is amazing.
Go watch what?
Did you say go watch Big Nazi Part 2?
No, Big Mouth.
Yeah, Big Mouth. But yeah, go watch that
God,
too.
Shawn.
On Netflix.
What the fuck is Big Nazi Part 2?
I'll go find out and let you know.
Nice.
It's probably the racist porn movie.
Hell yeah, dude.
Sounds like it.
It reminds me of our German.
Would you like to see my Gestapo? Yeah. You want to play Gestapo? Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Would you like to nibble on my schnitzel?
Where are we going? Where is this going? That gave me.
I mean my cock.
Nice. Just
clarification.
All right. So let's move forward again. We have housekeeping. We're going to talk about a few ways you can connect with us here at the Thought Patrol Podcast. First, we do Twitch streams. We stream. It's been a little bit hectic because we've been trying to get the podcast and get everyone together for shit. But usually it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Usually if I miss a day, I'll just fill another day in. So like this week, it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. But we stream from 9 p.m. To 12 a.m. Eastern, usually around there, or 1 a.m. Eastern. It depends on what's going on, how many people are chilling or stuff like that. So if you want to support us, you want to head over, drop a follow, maybe drop some bits our way. We would greatly appreciate it. All the money that is sent to us through crowdfunding goes back into the show. So it's going to be used to get us better equipment, maybe eventually get Shawn a computer and shit like that. So just eventually slowly improving the quality of the show just overall, and the streams as well will benefit from that, just from the equipment. So if that sounds like something you'd like to do, even just the follow, we greatly appreciate. You don't even have to watch, but the follow helps. We would, again, greatly appreciate that. Also,
we have an income.
We actually don't use Russell.
We kind of have income. We're technically Twitch employees.
We have donations.
We do have donations on Twitch. Yes, people can donate.
Receive donations.
Yes, we've actually.
Wow.
Okay, and I normally don't like talking about money, especially when it's crowdfunded money. But I think we recently just passed, because normally with the way Twitch works is you make the money, and then you see it after you get your revenue balance to $100, right? So we did recently just pass that threshold. So we will be receiving, I think on the 15th of this month, our first Twitch paycheck kind of thing. And I'm going to put that into I'm going to get booms for the mics.
Shit.
I'm going to get booms for the mics.
Shit, let's go in and fucking order some fucking porn on DirecTV or something. That's where that money's going, yo. Or
on DirecTV. Okay, getting booms for the mics, and then I want a better camera for the streams, because right now we have a 720 30 FPS, but they have 720 and they have 720 60 FPS cameras, which look a lot nicer, especially if the game you're playing is in 60, because you very easily see that discrepancy if the camera's in 30 and the video's in 60. For me, it just looks awful. So, we'll just put the one we have on reserve in case something ever happens, and then we'll get a better camera. I want to eventually put money, once we get more subscribers, put money into getting more Twitch emotes, just making the overall Twitch experience more enjoyable for the people tuning in. Because right now we only have like one emote, and that's the big beer emote. I fucking love that emote.
Also, Kyle has plans going in the future for hiring porn stars to act out Kyle ruins while he narrates.
Nice.
On YouTube.
Nice. On YouTube, I don't know about that. Maybe
I'm sorry, Pornhub. Sorry.
Yeah. Check the Pornhub,
I pay for that.
Pornhub.com/Thought We'll have our Thought Patrol channel there.
Pay for it. You're going to be in it. What are you talking about?
I can see that going over well. Something and what else? So that's that. We really appreciate help you could throw our way that way. Even if you just tune in and say hi. It helps a lot with doing this every week, just having some sort of interaction with the people that tune in. And it's also a nice way to speak with us directly. Sometimes I'll have Shawn on the call if we're doing something that's more narrative focused, and we'll both be there kind of talking, hanging out, playing the game, and stuff like that.
Or I just show up on Ask.
Yeah, he just sits there
and
talks about.
Like,
yeah, we had like
great.
a fucking
Dawn's here.
We had like a fucking. Yay. We had like a 25-minute anime conversation while me and Tyler were playing Far Cry 5, and everyone was just talking about anime in the chat and like, oh, what's your favorite anime? Like horror anime or anime stuff like that. So definitely some cool stuff. That's one of the main things we're trying to grow right now, as well as with the podcast. But I think all that will just come with time. I also have to stream things that aren't like not popular. That'd probably help.
I like coming with time.
So we also have a Discord as well. If you want to talk to the hosts, hang out with us. We're going to be starting something this week that Discord will be helpful for you guys to have because we might be doing something community-based, and I'll explain that as we get further into the show.
We're calling it Blowjobs for the Poor.
Exactly. I think every sentence Shawn will iterate for the rest of this podcast will be something sexy related. And then what I'm going to do...
episode 69. Hell yes. Everything I'm saying is going to be filthy and immature.
And what I'm going to do is every time... I'm going to go back in editing, and every time Shawn makes any sort of quip that revolves butthole or penis or whatever, it's going to be replaced with like a horse neighing, right? So
you need
by
to
now...
add in like one of those, like, oh yeah, like something like that. That'd be fantastic.
The quips alone are annoying enough. I think we would just drive people to the brink of insanity by adding sound effects afterwards.
That's
what
the
are you
goal.
doing?
Isn't that why we're here?
What are you doing, Antony? This man trying to stealthily eat.
Like, rubbing sound going on.
This man trying to stealthily eat.
That's me.
I think you failed your stealth roll, Antony.
Okay, the rubbing that you hear is basically, for lack of like a better description, is me stroking the mic, basically.
Yeah, because he's trying to stealthily eat pasta while we podcast. Because hey,
it's not working.
Time constraints. No, of course it's not working. Because you don't eat while you podcast. Because that's a stupid idea. Right,
well,
Antony?
I just worked out. I am hungry. And I am tired.
Hey, get those gains, bro.
Yeah,
dude. What better?
Yeah.
Okay, we really need to fucking move forward. Just talking about bullshit. All right.
I don't think people listen to the podcast to hear us focus. I want to be straight up.
You want to know what kind of exercise I was doing?
What?
Dick push-ups.
Oh yeah.
I might just have to change the title of this show to Our Most Immature Episode. It won't even be the main topic. It'll just be Our Most Immature Episode. God damn it. We also have comments. If you guys, we're going to be talking about a few things. If you guys are excited for, or you have responses to some things we put out there, you could leave a comment on YouTube. Some podcasting services also allow that. Or you can hit us up on Discord as well, as we talked about earlier. Let us know what you think. Also, feel free while you're there to drop a subscription. Help us out a bunch. Also, if you want to get the podcast every week on Tuesday at 8 a.m., you can subscribe to podcasting services that way as well. And you can hear our disgusting voices every week. So, yeah. Also, we have a Twitter, at ThoughtPatrolPD. You can check out announcements, polls, things we do over there. We'll eventually be doing stuff like, I don't know, giveaways or shit. I don't fucking know. We'll figure stuff out. But that's a good way of keeping up with us that doesn't involve sticking around on Discord, because I know some people don't like their phone being blown up 24/7. A lot of people join a server and just straight mute it, which is understandable. I could see that, especially if people are talking in it and stuff like that. We also have a Facebook. We have both a Facebook page for the Thought Patrol podcast and a sister page for the Streaming Geek that Shawn runs, and we post stuff, links for the Thought Patrol there, and
what kind of links
and stuff. The good stuff.
What kind of links you want, baby?
Reviews. So
yeah,
I got to apologize to the audience. I've been a little lax on updating the Streaming Geek. There's been some stuff going on, but I will be putting up a conversation for Asobia Sobasa and for I don't know, something else. I haven't figured out what the other one will be yet. Good talk.
Big old penis.
It's just the sound of me breathing into the mic.
I'm dealing with the sleep deprived Antony. So this man is like leaning onto the microphone, just like breathing heavily into it, eating pasta, just a mess. Just a shell of his former self.
Fat motherfucker.
At all times, my mouth is pressed directly onto, what is this? The pop filter?
Pop filter.
Yeah, pop filter.
Yeah, so just, you know what helps with not falling asleep? Sitting up. You sit up.
Oh, no, I'm not falling asleep.
Okay.
It's just, I'm just resting my head on the pop filter. No worries.
Okay. I'm just saying. Just don't sit there and give our audiences a little personal hurricane for them to listen to. This might just have to be our most immature and most unprofessional episode ever. Although we don't usually promise that. All right, finally.
Yeah, we really topped it with this one, yeah.
Yeah. Finally, iTunes reviews. It's another way of helping out the podcast, help us show up more on podcasting services. If you have a way of dropping a review for our show, greatly appreciate that. Some constructive criticism of some sort definitely, it would help us out a lot. And it's nice to just kind of get that feedback. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. When at least it comes to podcasting.
For the children.
Yes, for the children. We can only let them out of the dungeon once we get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. They're dying. So every subscription that you leave on the YouTube channel helps get those children out of my basement that much faster. Exactly. Beautiful. What the fuck was that? Oh my gosh.
I'd sing with you if I wasn't stuffing my face with spaghetti.
I fucking hate you guys. I fucking hate you guys.
I'm trying my hardest here, okay?
You got us together, Kyle. This is your fault.
It is my fault.
I'm trying my hardest.
One of the iTunes reviews should be fucking like stop the fucking side tangents. Like that's never gonna fucking happen.
All right. So we do have a mailbag question this week from our boy Lark, who's dropped us a few in the last couple of weeks. We do appreciate it. As always, this mailbag does go out to the people tuning in as well. If you have an answer for this, you want to let us know. Again, feel free to hit us up on the previous methods we stated. Also, all those methods will be in the description below. Anywhere you tune in, you will see links to all of those, and you can connect with us here. So, question, boys. We'll go around the table. What are some of your earliest memories of gaming? What games did you play, and how did it shape you into the gamer you are now? Antony.
Oh, God.
I'm pretty sure this came up in an earlier, like a really early episode.
I think we answered something like this, or it was a topic like this, but just a quick answer, just to give Lark peace so he doesn't go insane, because we never answered his question. We need to give him that peace.
I got you. A
quick and concise answer.
So my earliest memory would be Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy Advance.
That's a good fucking game.
Because it completely scared the shit out of me when the alternate Samus showed up and chased your ass with all the upgrades and you had absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Scared the absolute hell out of me. That was my earliest memory of a game.
I'm sorry. Someone just flew by my car. I just smiled like a flying squirrel.
We have those in Florida?
Dude, that was so fucking scary. And then like it flew into the fucking tree. What the fuck?
Are you sure it wasn't a bat?
All you hear is the door. All you hear from Tyler's side is a door slam, and you hear like heavy breathing and like air flying, and he's like calling ass back inside.
I'm sorry. Dude, that kind of scared me, honestly.
It scared me.
Yeah, it scared me too, dude. I thought that thing came out of the bush, dude. The rape goblin showed up.
I told you to kick it.
Bro, it went in the bush.
Oh shit! It went to save you, dude. It's attacking whatever was gonna come out after you.
It's your guardian squirrel.
Your guardian squirrel.
God damn it!
Against my windshield.
Like that.
Oh my god.
Like fucking tossed back to my windshield.
Do you want to hear my squirrel story?
Sure.
We had just finished playing Vampire, which is a LARPing game in downtown Orlando on Wall Street. And after we'd finished playing, we'd all go to Denny's. And I was busy fucking around with this girl, so by the time I turned around to catch a ride with somebody, the only guys left were high as fuck.
Nice.
And they weren't just high on like fucking weed,
Life.
they just done something else. I don't fucking remember, acid or some shit. And so they're sitting there trying to debate on who is the most capable of driving. So I was like, why don't I drive? And then they're like, hey, that's a fucking great idea. And so, bear in mind, I have 3 guys all tripping balls and stoned as fuck at the same time.
Hell yeah.
So they all crawl into the fucking car, 2 in the back, 1 guy on the front passenger side of me driving. And we're riding with our windows down, and we pass through this like little suburb area, like in the middle of Orlando on the way to the Denny's. And like, it felt like wind blew past my face. And then nothing. Like, you don't hear anything. For like 5 or 10 minutes, it's just them mumbling and talking about shit. And then the screaming starts. And all I hear is fucking Davey screaming about how he's being raped by a gremlin.
What the fuck?
And I mean, it sounds fucking chaos back there, right? And when that happens, the lights go on behind us. Like, you know, these, and no, this was just a routine traffic stop, mind you. He didn't stop me for any specific reason. So they're screaming like they are being murdered. I like my seats getting kicked and punched. The guy up front just started, I don't remember who the fuck he was, but he just starts screaming because he's fucking high and tripping, and the guys in the back are screaming. And I thought they were killing each other. Like, I didn't know what was happening. All I thought was, like, they're tripping. They're fucking killing each other. There's going to be blood everywhere. I'm driving the car. I don't want to go to prison. My ass is delicious. I'm going to get raped. I don't know what. Fuck me, dude. And this is so fucking surreal. Like, right before the cop got to my window, they just stopped screaming. Like,
they got their shit together.
I don't know if it was, like, Narcotics Anonymous, but I think somehow they just realized that there was a cop coming and they had to fucking stop. So all I hear is this light whimpering, right, coming from one of them. I don't know which. And all I hear is, dude, the gremlin's still here. I can't fucking see him, but he's still here. Maybe he'll go away. Like, and the cop walks up and all he hears is, maybe he'll go away. Like that whispering. And he looks in the car and he's like, tell me at least you're sober. That's all he just looks. And I'm like, yes, I'm good. He's like, license and registration. I give him the license. I ask the dude where his fucking registration is. He digs it out, passes it to me. I pass it to the cop, and he fucking disappears for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes, nobody says a fucking word. He comes back. He's like, it was just a routine stop. You're fine. Go on. Get them some fucking coffee or whatever. And he goes back to, I'm like, fucking hallelujah. Like, the light shines down. I find Jesus. We move on. It's another, I think, 15 minutes of driving. 10 minutes in, like, the end is in sight. Like, I'm almost out of this fucking Madmobile. And the screaming goes up to fever pitch. And then finally, they're like, fucking throw it in the front! So all I see is this furball fly past my face into the passenger's lap. And then I proceed to watch this squirrel kick the living shit out of the guy in the front seat. Like, it jumped on his face, just beat him the fuck. Like, he's punching his own face while it's running circles around his skull. Like, it was insanity. And then right as we're pulling up into the fucking Denny's parking lot, it all stops. Everybody's terrified of this fucking ninja psychotic squirrel. We get out of the car and it's fucking gone. We can't find it. It's not under the seats. It's not in the roof. It's not. We have no fucking idea. So we go into Denny's. We eat food. Everything's fine. We get back in the car to drive to fucking. I guess there was like it was an impromptu house party or some shit, if I remember correctly, like an after thing. So we're going over there, and halfway fucking there, the squirrel comes back. No idea where. And just proceeds to continue to kick the shit out of everyone, and then it jumps out my window.
The way you're telling the story, it sounds like a campfire, and everyone's like really like into it, right? And you just burst out, then the squirrel comes back. What do you know, dude, man? It's biggest twist of the century.
100% true story. Like, 100% true story. I have no fucking concept. I don't know if it was rabid. I don't know if it was just like, fuck those guys. It didn't fuck with me at all. Like, I just felt the wind as it flew past my face at light speed, and then watched it jump off my knee and leave. It might have done this like slow motion turn around and flick off the car as it jumped out. I don't know. But all I know is by the time when we got to Denny's, they were fucked up. When we got to the house, they were done. Like, they went straight into the bathroom and came out with bandages and Band-Aids and, like, all fucking Bactine stains. Like, it was fucking nasty. This thing just fucked the guys up that were dripping. It was fantastic. But the worst part is for, like, 10 minutes of screaming, I thought they were just tripping and imagining shit. I had no idea that they were actually being attacked by a killer squirrel.
Okay.
I want
Beautiful.
whatever they were having.
Give me 3 of whatever those gentlemen had. I need to be in a greater ethereal existence right now. So, Antony, are you done with your gaming story? Because I know we're answering a fucking mailbag.
You said to make it concise. I was done.
Okay, good. All right. I'm glad you're good, because I just watch him go to shove noodles into his mouth, and I'm like, wait, he's not done answering the question. This fuck. All right, Shawn, real concise. What's your earliest memory of gaming, and what game do you think that you initially played that shaped how you feel about games today?
My earliest memory of gaming was playing, I think it's called Sub Hunt on Atari.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which Atari it was, but it was an Atari. And the game that turned me into I was addicted to gaming on the Atari, and I would always go over to my aunt's just to do that shit because she had one, and I just play these shitty ass games because there is no such thing as a good Atari game, people. But at the time, like, that was all I knew. And as for the game that turned me into a rabid gamer, like, it would probably be the first Super Mario Brothers because I didn't have a Nintendo. And when you don't have something, that makes you want it even more. And I would actually go to the arcades and play Super Mario Brothers, which is the shitty console game everyone else had, in the arcades. And I would pour tons of money into this fucking thing. So by the time I got a Nintendo and I got Super Mario Duck Hunt, I was like already a diehard Nintendo fan. Like, they could have spit on me and killed my mother and I would have still bought their shit. Like, and it's not that I'm a diehard Mario fan. I appreciate Mario. I like Mario. I like to play Mario games. I'm a fan, but like, the thing that made me rabid in terms of gaming, that turned me into a fucking fandom guy, was Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. But when it comes to what really kicked off gaming to lead me to that point, it was probably the original Super Mario Brothers. And I played that shit on a machine where it'd give you like 3 minutes of playtime and then kick you out and you had to put another quarter whether you had lives or not. It's fucking the biggest ripoff ever. It was this Nintendo Play Choice thing. Fuck you, Nintendo.
That caught me off guard.
Don't die on me.
Oh,
I'm still fucking angry at them over the Wii U. So like this, it's not going to end. It's not. They're rat bastards, and I hope they get fleas.
Rage, fucking rage.
All right, cool. Tyler, what about you?
Well, I think as I said before, and this question was like asked once or twice before, but Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was probably the earliest game I can recall playing, and it started with my father. Like I said, he'd play for my sister and I after he'd get back from work, and that's kind of started my whole gaming career. But if I were to say, I think the game that made me a gamer was probably when I got because I didn't play a whole lot. I played a handful of games off the 64, but I wasn't really a huge gamer yet. I think when I got the GameCube is when I started playing a bunch of games, and it was probably either one of the first Medal of Honor games. I think it was Rising Sun. I played the fuck out of that game as a kid. Between that or like
that's a good game.
Yeah, between that or I think it was either Super Mario Sunshine or Star Fox Adventures or something like that. I'm trying to think of like some of the first games I had when I first got the GameCube, and like probably between like those three were the first main games I played, and like what's really made me start to play games a lot. Like I remember I had just first moved to Florida, and actually I had the GameCube when I lived in Virginia.
Oh. Tyler?
Hello. Whoa.
Yeah.
Tyler, no!
I'm still here.
Everyone
I'm
wants
still
to
here.
remember
Okay,
him.
one more time.
All right, well, fuck that guy then.
Wait, what?
One more time, you cut out.
I'm still here.
No, you're here.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
That's fine, guys. Yeah. Fucking. I had a phone call that cut me out. I was afraid that was going to happen. But, yeah, so that's my answer. And also, real quick, the name of this episode is 69ing Squirrels.
No, it's not.
69ing squirrels?
Squirrels, yes. Make it happen.
No. I can't even think. I can't even start to think of a thumbnail I'd have to create for that. Like two squirrels, like just the same exact squirrel, and I flip it horizontally, and it just make them scissor each other. That's the fucking thumbnail. High quality, yeah.
Between the pasta and that squirrel and like these stories, I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Yeah, we're answering a mailbag question.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So Tyler, you good? That's your answer?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I would say for me, the earliest time I remember playing games was like the original NES, Duck Hunt, originals Mario, Super Mario Brothers. Not the Not the one that where they were you like jumped and flipped turtles and shit, and they started at the top and came down. Where you got one person's Mario.
That's just Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I want the original on the NES, that Mario game where you had lives and shit, and it was the first idea of like the side-scrolling Mario. That game was I remember playing that. I remember playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on NES. I remember playing Mission Impossible on NES. Some ninja game. I don't remember which one it was, but it was hard. I don't know if it was Ninja Gaiden or something else. There was one where you're like, you watch your father die or something, and then you come back, and it has like a cutscene at the start of it. And there's like this battle that happens during sunset. I don't remember what the name of the game was, but it was like a ninja game, and it was a platformer. I don't know if it was Ninja Gaiden though or not. I don't remember.
Was it done like a film? Like
yeah.
It was. The Ninja Gaiden was the very first game to do cutscenes as if you were like it was. I mean, you could only do limited animations, so often images would slide or whatever. But Ninja Gaiden was the first one to do a filmic, like a film style, anime style cutscene where characters would show up and talk and stuff. That was
you had like a girlfriend and stuff too and stuff. Was that Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess it was Ninja
Gaiden. She was a reporter. No, she was a CIA agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. that was Ru Hayabusa's first adventure was the Ninja Gaiden trilogy.
Okay.
It was also the first game where I wanted to like go punch a puppy because I just failed a mission.
Those games were absolutely brutal. I think that was probably the hardest series that I've ever played was the original trilogy for Ninja Gaiden.
They're fucking difficult. But yeah, I remember I think the first time I was like, holy shit, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life was probably like Nintendo 64. Like Super Mario 64. I love that. The original like console Kirby game. I think it was like Kirby and the Shattered something. Fuck, what was that game called? There was a Kirby game on the 64. No, Mirror was Game Boy Advance.
I know which one you're talking about with the
you mirrors. Had like a weird
Crystal
painting
shards or something like that.
Yeah, you had like a weird.
There's like a bunch of different colored like Kirby's in the game.
No.
Is that the one?
That one's the Shattered Mirror, which is on Game Boy Advance. Fuck. Nintendo 64. There was one Kirby.
The first. Yeah, it was like the crystal shards. Or
I think it was
like
crystal
that.
shards.
It was the one where you could. It was the first one that allowed you to
combine powers. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that was a good fucking game. But yeah, like I went balls to the wall with 64. Anytime I could get something, I'd suck dick to get games and stuff like that. Anytime I could, I'd be getting games for the 64. I love that.
Every time I could suck dick.
Yeah, dude.
I
remember playing the original, the Gecko. Gecko. It was like I had really fond memories of that game, but it was like an not open world, but kind of like in the vein of Mario, where you go to an area and there's different things you do and shit.
I remember that game.
Yeah,
I remember the front of it. Yeah. Oh, what the fuck was that movie? It
was Gecko. It's called Gecko.
To like,
no, it's called Gex.
Gex.
At a video store, and I would
always, man, this is why you need to keep me around.
Yeah, it was called Gex, Tyler. That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta look into that.
I remember playing.
It was like that wasn't the same one where he was like a secret agent or something.
No, yeah, it was it. That was it. It was that one.
Okay.
And then I remember playing fucking. But yeah, 64 was the first step where I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome, and it like became a part of my life, and where I was doing it like a huge portion of the day and shit like that. And then here we are today, where I'm still hopelessly addicted to playing video games. But I loved the 64. It was like my first major like into where like I was saving money to try and get games. I was doing all that shit. I was all about the 64. And then I got a GameCube and then fell in love with that as well. But I was a Nintendo boy. I didn't have a Genesis. I didn't have a Dreamcast. I eventually got a PS1, and then I lost the memory cards for it. So that was a hopeless adventure because like I'd start playing. I played all the Jack games, but I'd just leave the PlayStation on. And I'd just turn off the TV and I'd walk away, which was really bad for the PlayStation. And I'd come back and that's how I would save. So it's probably no wonder that thing didn't last very long. But
to be honest, I wasn't a huge 64 guy. I was more kind of like a 69 kind of guy.
Me too, man. Me too.
Anyone?
I fucking hate you.
I gotta go fuck myself.
I don't know the way he said that. Guess I'll just go fuck myself.
I tried.
Alright, that's okay.
I support you, brother.
So that's our earliest game memories, things that we think shaped us as people that enjoy the craft of video gaming. What do you think, Lark? What was your earliest games? And you guys tuning in, earliest game memory you had? Let us know. Again, Discord, YouTube comments, whatever way you think you want to reach us, we'd appreciate that. If you want to send us a mailbag question to be answered on the show, it could be literally fucking anything. We don't care. We really don't have many filters here, as you can obviously tell. You can do it through Discord, Facebook, Twitter at ThoughtPatrolPD with the hashtag TP Mailbag. Yeah, TP Mailbag. You can send to us at our email, thoughtpatrolcast@gmail.com. Any of those methods, feel free to hit us up. We'd really appreciate it. And we just want to hear from you guys. Things that you want to hear from us. So we're going to move forward. Boys, I think it's time.
It is time.
I think it's time for Kyle Ruins. So everyone sit back. So now. If you do not want to hear this, because I've heard from a few people that it's not their favorite segment, obviously because it's fucking smut. Some people listen to this on like speakers and stuff like that. If you don't want to hear this, there will be a timestamp in the description as to when it ends. So right now it's starting. So if you want to skip Kyle Ruins, just go ahead and skip to that time. And then you'll skip the entire segment. So I'm just giving you guys that way out. Fucking pussies.
Damn.
All right. So we have a Pokemon fan fiction, boys. Now. That security guard's getting that much closer to your car, dude.
Yo, girl, let me squirt on them Jigglypuffs.
God. All right. So I think I'm just gonna read it, keep it concise, so we're not wasting time going back and forth, and you guys will just provide your commentary. Let me know what you think of this masterpiece of literature. So
I think it sucks.
The title is called Quilava. It's called Quilava Rehabilitation.
God.
It is.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh my god, it's 2,000 words. Oof. It contains
really
big oof.
It contains M/M. I don't know what that means. Blowjobs, doggy style, rimming, Pokemon on human, and human on Pokemon.
M is male on male, isn't it?
Hell yeah, baby! Let's get into this. Pokemon on human and human on Pokemon action. I'm excited, boys. Originally, this was going to be a story about a Quilava coming from an abusive home, but somehow my muse took it elsewhere. Hope you enjoy nonetheless. This is by the author.
My muse? You were inspired by somebody to do this?
He put in quotes, I was horny. or wait, is this a female? No. This might be a female. I think it's a female. I don't know.
Females usually write / for some reason.
All right. So, we're going to start. Everyone sit back, relax. I think I also have to cuz I put like music into these segments. I completely forgot. It's been so long since I've done it. So, let's go ahead and get started. Everyone get some popcorn, chill out, whip them dicks out if it suits you, or let them recede back into your body from the cringe. Either or. I'd appreciate just hearing about your penis. So, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting Quilava Rehabilitation. I don't think this... it's only like one page. So we'll get through it today. Actually, I don't even know. We'll do this. All right, boys, let's go. The Quilava breathed heavily in my ear. A small tinge of flame brushing the tip.
Oh my god, it's already the worst thing I've ever heard.
The Pokemon had come from an abusive home whose owner's idea of training was spraying the fire type down whenever it disobeyed its commands. That's fucked up. Luckily,
no, wait, I lied. That shit where you fucking involved Slimer was the worst thing I've ever heard. This is the second worst thing I've ever heard.
Luckily, I had observed this behavior while working with the professor in town and reported it to the authorities. Unluckily, they decided to give the Quilava to me to take care of, despite never raising a Pokemon in my life. Man, that's a useless member of society. How do you live in a world where Pokemon exist and you've never raised a Pokemon before? What the fuck? The fire weasel seemed to be happy it got away from its previous owners, but it stuck close to me, hugging my leg tightly as if it was afraid I was going to leave him. I really don't like this already. The only time alone I've gotten the past few days was during my showers.
It's your fault. You did this to us.
But even still, the Pokemon stalked the other side of the glass door. Still, it didn't take long to get used to the fuzzy body that accompanied everywhere throughout the house. The only problem was just that. I hadn't left the house for a week. Not only was I becoming stir-crazy, but I was running low on food and soda, too. I wasn't sure how the Quilava would take to being outside, that being where most of its punishment was, so it'd be an adventure for the both of us. But the first thing I noticed when I opened the door to the outside was that the Quilava had vanished. Flynn? I called out, named him Flynn, not expecting him to answer. His previous owner had named the Pokemon Scuzzy, a name I wasn't too fond of, but the Quilava had yet to get used to his new name. I shrugged to myself.
So wait, let me get this straight. So at first he's named after an archaic computer technology, and then he's named after a character from Tron. Whoever wrote this needs to have bees crawl into his asshole.
Do bees crawl? Is that a thing that they do?
Yeah. Of course they do.
It's not like you can fly into an asshole. Fuck,
yes, you can if you fly fast enough.
If you believe, you could get into a butthole. Bees aren't that big.
All you have to do is
just believe anything's possible.
All you have to do is assume the position and lather honey all over that asshole.
Wouldn't you be more afraid that a bear would tongue your ass than like the torture of having?
I'd rather have a bear tongue my ass than bees crawling that shit.
Well, that's the point. He's got that thick, leathery tongue, right? It's large.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about Honey Nut Cheerios.
Alright, back to this Quilava getting destroyed. Alright, a name I wasn't too fond of, but the Quilava had yet to get used to his new name. I shrugged to myself and walked out the door, hoping that the fire Pokemon wouldn't burn the house down after I left in a fit of despair. Immediately after I closed the door, I hear his paws scratching on it. Seems like he wanted to go out now. Come on, Flynn, don't do this to me, I mutter, expecting to open the door and have him dart off into the depths of my house. Instead, he pushes his way out the door, and the moment it cracks open, darting around feet, I lift him up so I don't trip, holding his back to my chest. You fuck. This man unplugged his fucking phone. You maniacal piece of shit. You're not allowed here anymore. He sits there, knowingly unplugs his phone, hears the computer make noise, ruining the immersion of the podcast, and then proceeds to plug his phone right back in and make the same exact noise again.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
No, you're not allowed to plug that back in. I know, it is getting good. Alright, I mutter, expecting to open the door and have... So many people just got fucking confused.
It's not getting good. Who said that?
Tyler did. He's interested.
He's lying. He's just saying that to make you feel better.
Where the fuck was I? It's just like a wall of text. It's probably dangerous considering the fact that the slightest excitement could cause it to burst into flames and burn me. Flynn twitches a little in my arms and settles down as we walk to the market. It's a nice day, right, Flynn? I absentmindedly talk to him as we walk. It rained recently and the grass glittered with the reflected sun. Also makes me want to take a picnic. My thoughts weren't really directed at Flynn now. I really
thought you were going to say take a shit. Like, literally. Like, it also makes you want to take a shit.
What a beautiful day to take a shit.
This possum makes me want to take a shit.
Let's see. I was just talking for the sake of filling the silence. Flynn had been quiet in my arms as well.
He said possum.
He did say possum. Did you say possum?
Why would a possum make you want to take... No, he's pasta. He's eating spaghetti. But at first I was like, this possum makes you want to... Why would a possum...
Were you referring to your spaghetti?
Yes, I was.
You said possum.
I said pasta.
I dead ass heard possum.
Man, I'm really tired.
Keep going.
All
right. Don't let them interrupt you. Keep going.
Yeah. Child's like, I'm almost done, man. Come on.
Is that all you hear is zip?
Very slowly.
Okay, wait. Fuck, I lost my spot again. I can't stop. Almost makes me want to take a picnic. My thoughts weren't really directed at Flynn now. I was just talking for the sake of filling the silence. Flynn had been quiet in my arms as well, but it was normal for him to not make much noise. We let the silence continue. The only sounds were flying Pokemon chirping in the distance and the wet slap of my shoes on the pavement. Finally, the blue roof of the Pokemart came into view, its automatic door opening with a whiz that woke up the Pokemon in my arms. He squirmed around and climbed up my chest, wrapping around my neck like a boa. He seemed to be comfortable to stay there, so I allowed him to. As I went on with the shopping, picking up assorted items with one hand and trying to balance Flynn with the other. The cashier looked at me strangely with my Pokemon draped around my neck, but didn't say anything, and I paid for my supplies, eager to get back home. Somehow the walk back home always seems to take longer, but that gives me more time to enjoy the setting sun's rays. "The sky sure is beautiful, ain't it, Flynn?" I mumbled to the dozing Pokemon, who merely gave a puff of flame in acknowledgement. His breath of fire almost matched the sun's own rays as they bled across the sky. Flynn jumped off my shoulders, nearly pushing me over with his thrust. "What's wrong?" I asked, as the Quilava gazed down the sidewalk to our house. He stared off into the distance for a moment more, before running behind me and attempting to push me towards the house. I quickened my pace, not wanting to upset Flynn any more than he seemed to be. Oh, excuse me. Our home came into view, and Quilava started pushing me into a sprint, pressing me to run faster and faster until we got at the door. Once there, he started to scratch until I opened it. Strange, I thought to myself out loud. Pondering Flynn's actions today, the sun finally disappeared behind the cityscape, and I switched on the house lights. Once more, my Pokemon had taken upon itself to slink around my legs like a python. I managed to put the groceries down on the counter before tripping and falling to the floor, collapsing like a dead tree. What the fuck? Flynn worriedly prodded my face with his cool nose, and I groaned in return. He seemed happy with that response and curled up against my aching side while I rested in pain. In a way, his warm body acted like a heating pad that soothed my sore muscles, but more often than not, he was a nuisance, pushing painfully against them. I must have lain on the floor for more than an hour before I finally felt well enough to press myself to my feet. Almost immediately, I fell back down, dizzy from the rush of blood. Man, this dude's a pussy. What the fuck? Flynn woke up with my second fall, this time trying to lift me up again. I grabbed the countertop and used it to hoist myself as well as a stabilizer. My head pounded. Dimly, I could feel Flynn pushing me towards my bedroom, but I was still woozy from my falls. At last, I limped into my bed, its soft comforter, a much better resting place than the linoleum floor of the kitchen. The mattress sank under the additional weight of Flynn, who had jumped on to spread himself on my back, gently depressing me down into the blankets. I shook him off and batted my back in return. Ignoring him, I attempt to undress myself, pulling off my shirt with ease, but my shorts were a little bit more difficult due to my massive dong. No, that's not. I wish that was there, but it's not. A bit more difficult to remove. Lying face down, I propped my ass into the air and placed a finger under the waistband, pulling them up and over my rump. What? I'm trying to picture that.
Wait, are they pulling it up or down?
Well, I attempted to undress myself, pulling off my shirt with ease, but my shorts were a little bit more difficult to remove. Lying face down, I propped my ass in. Antsy, rebuild this for me. I propped my I propped my ass into the air and placed a finger under the waistband, pulling them up and over my rump. While the shorts,
is not the right word to use.
Anyway. While the shorts were comfy, sleeping nude was definitely the best way to sleep in my book. This dude's insane. Have you ever slept nude, Antsy?
Yes, I have.
Who doesn't?
I've never slept nude before.
It's weird.
Really?
Because your junk is kind of just like going all over the place.
Well, I don't know if it's going all over the place, but it free floats. Easy.
It's going all over the place because you're trying to like move and get comfortable, and it's just doing.
Yeah, it just flops all over the place.
It just flops.
That seems so weird. I like to have. I like to have my junk in a stationary spot, wrapped by the warmth of cloth.
But when you're sleeping next to somebody, naked is the best. And also if you have...
But that doesn't alleviate the problem unless you're laying on top of each other.
It's not a problem. You're the only one that has that problem.
Flopping junk is a problem.
Antony, for some reason.
That shit will start to sag.
No. Okay, so if you have...
I hate sleeping naked because my dong just fucking runs all over the room. It gets into my shit.
No, that's what the other person is for.
It's going crazy.
That's what the other person is for,
Shawn. They cup their hand on your balls and they just hold it there. That's the woman's job, right, boys?
Put it on her ass.
No, you put it between her ass cheeks.
Just right in the crack. It just rests right there.
Yes. It's called the socket for a reason.
What the fuck is going on? Oh my gosh.
Continue.
Yes, I don't know where I was.
Pulling up and over.
Okay,
the
sleeping
rump.
nude was definitely the best way to sleep in my book. I kicked aside my shorts. My boxers were the next to go. I managed to get them over the crest of my ass when I felt Flynn put his forepaw on them, pulling them down to my knees in a flash. Huh? I said stupidly as I felt two paws wrap around my thighs and a brush of semi-coarse fur rub against my ass. It slid back and forth against my crack.
Oh no. Oh no, it starts.
Wow, this is fucking fast. I was like...
I thought all the forced innuendos were bad enough. Jesus Christ. This dude needs fucking therapy.
Antony's providing Foley for the fucking...
The effect.
I heard that slurp.
Until I felt a particular wetness...
I was like, I know that slurp.
Shut up! There's wetness.
Wet, moist.
Wait. Until I felt a particular wetness sliding between my cheeks. It leaked the warm liquid and put... I can't read this with a fucking straight face. It leaked a warm liquid that pooled into my hole. A slick liquid.
Oh, fucking shit, man.
A slick liquid that smelled slightly of chilies. It smelled of chilies.
I'd get the fuck up so fucking fast. That Quilava would not know what hit it.
Miss me with that gay shit. Miss me with that gay shit. Where was I? With shock, I realized what was happening. I tried to pry the Quilava off of me, but his weight and position made him too powerful. His short thrusts were slowly getting closer and closer to their mark.
Looks like it's super effective.
Wait, hold on. A dude is being raped by a Pokemon. I just want everyone to understand this right
Quilava,
now.
and his cum smells like chilies.
Continue.
His short thrusts were getting closer and closer to their mark, and I could feel the tip of his member pressing itself into my ass. No, I yelled, spinning on the bed and throwing the Quilava under me.
That's his reaction is to bad boy.
No.
Put the penis down.
I fucking love.
If you do that, you're not getting any snacks tonight.
I love the internet, dude. No, I yelled, spinning on the bed and throwing the Quilava under me.
You love the internet for all the wrong reasons.
From this vantage point, I could see it all. His creamy chest fur that slowly leads down to a plump sheath half filled with a meaty pink cock. A pair of fuzzy balls scrunched up to the base of his sheath. The drool of his member oozing pre onto
his member.
onto his flame retardant fur. That's a good I like that detail.
That's hot.
I pressed a hand against his chest, feeling his heart race as he tried to curl up and hump my arm. Quee. I'm not making. Who wants to make the Pokemon noise?
No.
What does it sound like?
Quee. Read that right here. Quee. Yeah, Quee. He moaned desperately. There you go. That's a perfect answer. You're my Pokemon. He moaned desperately. I had never thought of sex with a Pokemon before, but I couldn't say the thought wasn't enticing. but there was something strangely wrong, yet so right with the idea. I felt the drop of Quilava.
Stockholm syndrome. He got raped and now he thinks he wants it.
I felt the drop of Quilava pre leak out of my ass and drip down my leg. My hand slid down the Quilava's chest. How far are we? Fuck, we're like halfway. Quilava's chest making its way to
I think that's a good ending right there. I think
I want to finish this. I finish what I start. Make his way to the hardening cock.
No, you don't. I can name so many on air right now.
Shut up! It's getting good.
That was Auntie's so intense. That was slowly slipping out of its sheath. I grasped the almost unbearably hot dick, marveling at its rigidity. Is that even a word? At spurted out a glob of pre, which I used to moisten its surface, pulling it almost completely out of and exposing the entire shaft.
Oh my god.
Tyler starts weeping.
The entire cock was remarkably inexplicable yet simplistic in nature. I slowly tapered down.
Remarkably inexplicable?
Yeah, I don't know. It slowly tapered down from its thick base, conical in nature, with a small hole at the tip which oozed liquid lubricant. My hand absent-mindedly stroked it, and Flynn whimpered beneath me. Lightly thrusting into my palm, I lowered my head, the tip of Flynn's cock almost an inch away.
I hate you, Kyle.
It smelled like peppers, rich and spicy. I couldn't help but stick my tongue out.
Rich and spicy?
I couldn't help but stick my tongue out and give the tip a lick. A sudden spurt of pre was more... I love that he just calls it pre. I'm gonna pre.
I like the fact that Tyler's discomfort might actually be eclipsing my own.
Was more than a mouthful. Antony's trying to eat his noodles and he can't. I look over at he's like looking down, thinking like, "Damn, the spaghetti looks good, but pre."
You see him just like shrug his shoulders with a fuck it motion, and he spits in his hand dives below the table.
The sudden spurt of pre was more than a mouthful. I wrapped my lips around the head to keep the tasty pre-cum from spilling out, dude.
You say tasty?
Yeah, dude, it tastes like peppers. Yes. You know what it is, dude? It's fuck.
You said it tastes spicy.
What is this Quilava filled with, huh?
A hot sauce.
Apparently.
Cajun fucking
Cajun
probably
seasoning.
like sriracha or something.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, sriracha.
Frank's
sriracha's fucking disgusting.
hot.
That's how they make it. They just have a bunch of Quilavas that they jack off to get sriracha. There you go. Not only did I ruin Pokemon for you, I ruined sriracha for you. You're welcome.
That's all right. I hate sriracha, so we're good.
His musk enticed me to sink deeper and deeper. I want to stop saying the word cock. I feel dirty. Until I was at the base of the 7-inch rod. That one's new. Somehow, 7 inches. What the fuck?
How big is a fucking Quilava?
Bruce, why do you do this to me? Alright, wait.
Bruce is getting bothered by the story.
He's a human. Quit talking about Pokemon.
All of a sudden you get a large purple Bruce dick in your lap and it's real.
I'll show you.
Don't
Bruce
Bruce
wanted to participate.
I let him outside.
Reenact.
Because he likes to make a lot of
Bruce
noise.
is like, mine tastes like turkey gravy.
Jesus. You stop that right now. Only I'm allowed to ruin things.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Somehow I'm gonna change the word cock to rod for the rest of the night because that word makes me uncomfortable. His rod angled perfectly.
Say Peter.
You don't like the word cock?
His Peter angled perfectly down my throat, and I allowed myself to press against the rim of fur that marked the entrance to his sheath. I suckled on his Peter, letting suckled.
He fucking suckled.
Letting its juices slide down my throat and rest in my stomach. My tongue slid around the base of his meat, focusing on a particular vein that pulsed rapidly. One of my hands pressed up against Flynn's furry leg, reaching up higher and higher until it touched at his balls, gently massaging them. A finger got frisky and reached lower to the passage beneath the Quilava's sack. The tight hole, almost as hot as its Peter, nearly pulled the adventurous finger inside.
You realize that you're doing, like, fictional bestiality, right? Like, that's basically what this is.
Yeah, dude. I'm here to ruin things. I'm not here to follow any moral standards. As long as I'm ruining this for whoever likes Pokemon, I'm satisfied. Yeah, this is bestiality. Someone wrote a story about fucking a Quilava. There's a male fucking a Quilava too.
I refuse to ever look up what that is, just so I never get a mental image.
Reaching up higher and higher until I touched at his balls. Oh no, I'm too far back. The tight hole, almost as hot as his Peter, nearly pulled the adventurous finger inside, but was too slow, and the appendage simply circled the warm entrance. It plunged in, pressing hard against the convulsing walls around it, searching for a pleasure button. I found it.
Don't you dare look at me while you read that.
Just give Antony We're still so far. Hot, gooey spurts of you-know-what splattered down my throat, nearly choking me with the volume and spicy musk. I lifted my head up, allowing a few stray shots to spurt against my face. Flynn curled up into a ball and began to lick at his dripping member. I tapped him on the back, and he looked up at me, pausing a moment before cleaning my face his gum with his tongue. Oh, Flynn flipped over onto all fours. For a moment, I thought he was going to run off again, but instead he stuck his rear end into the air, pressing it against my stomach. Oh, no. I don't want to read this.
This is where you say, oh, no. This is the part that oh, knows you.
I'm starting to get sick.
Like,
I'm starting to get physically ill.
That's why I had to stop looking at the pasta.
Starting to get
Here, I'm gonna put it in front of you.
Is it spicy? Is it spicy?
No, just look at that while you read it.
Okay.
Just glance over at it.
It smells spicy.
Does it remind you of something?
Yeah. God. Yeah, I'm getting like physically ill now. I lifted my head up, but this episode 69 we have to power through. I lifted my head up, allowing a few. Oh no, I already read that. For the moment, I ignored it, sliding my hands underneath the Quilava and flipping the Pokemon onto its back in a 69 position. What the word, boys? There it is. We're in.
Yes.
Where's the air horn?
I licked from the base of his musky balls to the pink entrance, my tongue's saliva barely moistening the semi-rough fur. Ew, it must be like little bits of shit on it too. I'm like,
stop.
I just fucking gagged.
Stop.
Fucking gagged.
Stop.
About it. I straight up just gagged thinking about it.
If you don't want to see all of this pasta all over one more pop filter.
One more paragraph.
Yeah, you need to stop talking about shit-covered cock in front of Antony right now, because if he has to think about shitty cocks...
But his
I look up a lot of stuff.
Over you.
But his ass was a sharp contrast to the
Shitty
coarse fur around it. A soft and pliable, fleshy entrance appearing ripe and almost virgin. I hope it's virgin.
Stained brown.
Okay, last paragraph. I wetted my lips with saliva and stuck my face into the tight ass, kissing it first before slipping my tongue into the ring of the muscle.
My tongue.
It tasted a lot like Flynn's Peter, spicy with a hint of bitter musk, yet the texture was unique. I pulled my tongue out again and spat another helping of saliva down the hole. Meanwhile, my Peter was getting a similar treatment from Flynn's mouth. His muzzle would just reach the tip of my head.
Flynn's cleaning the poop off.
It just stopped, teasing with its warmth before breaking away and trying again. Flynn's sharp tongue whistled out and gave the member a warm coat of saliva. Moaning, I lowered my hips, allowing the Quilava full access to my Peter, which it immediately took.
Cock.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I really hope that you don't like anything in this drawer.
You puke.
It's going right in this drawer.
Weren't you the one that was cheering this on?
He was.
Not 5 minutes.
We only have 8 paragraphs left, but I think I'm going to call it starting an hour in. So that was that.
See, I have a vivid imagination, and I closed my eyes for like 3 seconds, and I just pictured the whole thing, and it made...
Is Quilava the big evolution to Typhlosion?
Yeah.
Okay.
That thing's fucking massive.
I remember.
Well, Typhlosion's massive.
Oh,
Quilava's
Typhlosion. No,
smaller.
Quilava's... Yeah.
Don't give me any more mental images. All right, so that was Kyle Ruins.
God damn it.
That was pretty rough. I didn't expect it to be that bad. It started out pretty tame.
How could you have expected it to be any other way?
I don't know, because sometimes they're a little bit more tame. That one we read for Twilight and The Price is Right wasn't too bad.
Okay, I'm choosing the next one.
You're choosing the next one? We don't do this all the time.
Damn
for
it.
obvious reasons.
Oh, okay.
But this was a special occasion.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but we don't do it all the time.
Okay.
I give everyone in the audience a break. Everyone in the audience, yeah, that was enough. Everyone in the audience.
Fuck that, he gives Shawn a break.
All right, so that was Kyle Ruins.
Y'all, welcome back to the pod.
That one was close.
Dude, I straight fucking gagged. I gagged, like straight up. All right, let's just move forward.
Onwards and upwards.
I've wiped the tears from my eyes.
Next thing you know, it's just me and Kyle just puking noises, and that's all you hear for the next 5 minutes.
Right. I'm not kidding. I thought you were going to follow that statement with fisting each other. I don't know.
Well, it's a rough
Now, the most important part...
Me and Kyle fisting each other.
Now, the most important part
Don't
is...
touch me.
Gently hold your hand.
He like put his hand
It got a little closer there. Now, the most important thing is... Did he say no homo?
No homo doesn't matter. It's only gay when someone comes. If no one comes, it's not gay. If you reach completion and you hit, that doesn't count. That's not completion. I mean, like full on, you blew a load, you popped. I don't know. The
rocket took off.
The rocket took. If it does, the moment that happens, that's gay. But everything up until then, you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wise words.
Yeah. Exactly.
Rule of thumb.
All right. So we have box office. Boys, what do we think is sitting in first place in the box office?
Venom.
Okay,
Venom.
I got Venom.
Venom tanked, man.
Did it tank?
I'm definitely not voting Venom. Yeah, dude, it's terrible.
Let me give you a few options.
I heard it's terrible, but I still think it made top just because people like all the hype.
Let me give a few new ones that came out. We do have Venom. We have A Star Is Born, The Hate You
Star Is
Give,
Born.
Shine,
That's probably pretty good.
2018. All right. So Star Is Born from
It's A Star Is
Shawn?
Born.
All right, and then Venom and Venom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. At number 1, we do in fact have Venom sitting in first place for the weekend, pulling $80 million
Holy fuck.
for the weekend, sitting at a budget of $100 million. Again, in its first week. Number 2, we have A Star Is Born, sitting at $42 million for the weekend, with a budget of $36 million. All these numbers are domestic. At number 3, I really should do fucking, let me see, international. Did Venom make anything international? It pulled another $125 million international. So Venom's made $200 million so far.
That is a disgusting amount of money.
It is for one weekend.
Yeah, especially for a shit-ass movie.
A Star Is Born has pulled worldwide $58 million.
Is that your foot? Get your
That is
fucking
my
foot away
foot.
from my foot.
You're the one touching me, dude.
Yes, did you not hear me a minute ago?
All right, number 3,
No.
we have Smallfoot, that's animated kids movie. It's pulled $75 million worldwide.
Smallfoot?
Smallfoot, yeah, it's like
Is it like Littlefoot, like the dinosaur animated thing?
no,
No?
it's like the opposite of Bigfoot.
No, it's
Land Before Time. No.
no, it's Bigfoot's finding humans. They don't
Yeah.
believe in humans, and then they find a human, like, oh no, human, and then whatever bullshit
Oh, that's pretty smart though.
At number 4, we have Night School, pulling $58 million for the week worldwide. At number 5, we have A House with a Clock in Its Walls, pulling
happens. That I want to see.
pulling a total of $89 million worldwide.
Jeez.
So that's what's doing good. Some honorable mentions. I know last week was very interesting because the My Hero movie actually got in the top 10, I think. I think it was literally number 10. It had made like...
I thought it was 8.
I don't see it on the list anymore. Probably because I don't know how long it even ran for. It might not even be on the list anymore.
It's still in theaters. I'm gonna go see it this weekend.
I don't see it anywhere. Yeah, but that was pretty cool that got into like the top 10. I heard it was a really good movie, and they have like some cool things that happen that I'm not going to talk about, but that I've heard that were spoiled for me because I look on iFunny like a dumbass. But
That happens to you every time. You never learn your lesson.
yeah, dude. Some honorable mentions. We have Crazy Rich Asians sitting in 8th place, pulling another $2 million for the weekend. The Nun in 7th place, pulling another $2 million for the weekend. Christopher Robin somehow made money. Made $500,000 this weekend. That's about it. Fallout Mission
It's a
Impossible
good-ass
Fallout.
movie.
It's in 20th place, 321,000. But yeah, that's the box office. That's what's going on there. Venom kicking ass, taking names, being
Awesome.
average, overwhelmingly average from what I've heard. I've heard like from what I've heard is that people went to go see it, they liked it a lot, and then critics have just absolutely shit all over the movie. So I don't know. I haven't seen it. I can't
Also,
really make a
Spider-Man
judgment.
fans didn't like it because they fucked up Venom really bad,
What?
except for visually. Yeah, they fucked him up big.
You mean like background wise?
Yeah, just his
Yeah,
character.
he's not Venom.
Oh,
Looks like
okay.
Venom.
No, visually it's Venom.
Yeah, it's
Like
just- I mean,
100%.
I mean, like the character. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we got that out of the way. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're gonna be actually doing a review corner, a small one.
Okay.
Me and Shawn recently finished 2 shows that we're gonna talk about real quick. Give our thoughts about them. They're both animes. So it was Cells at Work. We finished. It's over.
Oh yeah.
And Hanebado. is also over.
So did I also watch the last episode of that?
I don't know.
Well,
I think you did.
Known as
I think I did.
Most Amazing Breath.
I'm pretty sure you did. All right. So if you want to participate, Antony, even if you haven't finished it, but you've just seen it, you want to give like an impression while we talk about it, that's completely fine.
I've seen enough to give a review on it.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and start? Give us your thoughts, what you think about Cells at Work.
I'll piggyback off of your guys's.
I have enough information to confidently review this. I'm going to piggyback off you guys. Okay. Shawn, what about you? What do you think about Cells at Work?
It's unique. People say it's anime osmosis Jones, but it really isn't. It's a lot more than that. But the characters are fucking adorable. Like, the show itself is fairly pointless, although it's very episodic. There's no ongoing story, but you do character somewhat grow a noob to being fairly experienced, and it's just that the characters that are in it are all very extremely charming. Like, they're all explaining, they do little bits of backstory here and there, and you can't not love pretty much everyone that's in it. Even some of the villains, the germs and shit, are super fun. But it's weird because it feels a bit like a cartoon you might have watched when you were 12 on Saturday mornings or something, with the exception of, like, there's blood, gore, and hyperviolence just kind of out of the blue.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like, it's just extremely charming. Like, the stories are whatever. What happens is whatever. You just have fun at the little jokes that happen and what the characters do and shit. Also gives you a little bit of an education on biological functions and shit like that, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's extremely accurate.
Yeah.
But it's very, I don't know, it's just it. It's very charming. And Kyle's like, but there's something in Kyle that's ready for fatherhood, because anytime there's like a kawaii kid on screen, remotely creepy, Kyle just goes into full on, oh my god, it's so cute.
The platelets.
Yeah, platelets. Like, he's a diehard platelet fan, so I can imagine him adopting a bunch of tiny, adorable children sometime in the future, and then just running around creating webbing and covering holes. Like, it's just fucking, he's very into the platelets. And you can't blame him, because they're fucking insanely cute.
Oh, yeah, they are.
And the children are not going to have names. They're just going to be called platelets.
Yeah, dude. Platelet 1, Platelet 2.
It's going to be a group.
Yeah. One thing that I think is really cool about this show is there's a lot of very small things they put in that would make sense to someone who's incredibly, like, knowledgeable. Like, the things that I've read about the show, like, put in a lot of very small details that lead to different things. Like, one thing, you know how the platelets always hang out around the white blood cell?
Yeah.
Like, they're always, like, hanging on them. That's actually a disease that you can get. It's nothing super serious.
It's a phenomenon that happens.
But it's something that happens in the body where platelets actually adhere to white blood cells, and it is something that actually happens. Now, it can't kill you, but it can cause problems in life and shit like that. But that's an actual thing that happens in the body. I read a comment. The main character, she's a blood cell, red blood cell, but she gets lost. She gets lost all the time. Now, cells that actually do that, there are red blood cells that actually do that. They're sickle red blood cells. They get lost. They get confused. They go to different areas of the body, and they can cause issues that way.
Well, it's not that. They get hooked on stuff, and they don't end up where they're supposed to. Your blood doesn't flow properly.
Yeah.
That's what sickle cell anemia is.
And if you look at her design, she has a little cowlick that looks like a sickle.
Ha!
Sickle. So just, again, little small details here and there that kind of give you an idea. Like, there's this dude I watch on YouTube. He's an actual doctor, and he like reacts to how being a doctor is portrayed in media, like how accurate it is. So he talks about like episodes of like House or stuff like that, and he'll discuss like, is this actually, how true is this to that field actually? And he watches the show. Like, he got a shitload of recommendations to watch the anime, and he actually sat down, watched it. He talked about it. He explains like the structure, how the little nods they make here and there actually are things that actually happen. Like, another reason the platelets are small, not only do they only live a certain amount of days, but on top of that, they're only like a third the size of an actual like red blood cell. That's why they're kids. They're actually anatomically smaller than a normal blood cell,
right?
So they can fill the holes that are created when you do get a scratch or something like that.
Science.
So just like all those really small things that just they don't like shove into your face, they're just there. Like if you do know, it's a little nods, like just to kind of like this is the personification of a body. This is exactly what's going on a lot of the time.
Even I picked up on some little things when we were watching it. Like I'd point things out here and there, not to that level, but I noticed stuff.
Yeah, and you can, if you look hard enough, you can see it. But you can also just sit and watch the show as something, again, episodic, and it just has a charm to it, the way it's written, the way the characters interact.
It's a really fun watch.
Yeah, it's just something that it's super entertaining, and if you do look for a deeper detail, it's there, and you get that, and it rewards you for looking into that because you kind of see these things that they portray in the body, which is really cool. And again, Shawn said all the characters, fucking awesome characters. It's also the way they personify everything and the way they create even from the character design, the way the red blood cells look. Like if you look at them from like an overhead view, they actually look like blood cells flowing because of their hats. Another cool thing that someone pointed out in a comment is their jackets that they wear, they're interchangeable. So when you see them, some red blood cells, their collars are a different color when they're not carrying oxygen because they're not oxygenated. Because you know how non-oxygenated blood cells are a different color than oxygenated blood cells?
Yeah.
So their coat color, the collar is a different color than the actual ones that are actively carrying oxygen, the oxygenated blood cells. Just, again, super small details that don't necessarily need to exist there, but they're there for someone that's looking for it. They can see, oh, that was a cool nod to that. It's just an awesome watch, really fun show. 13 episodes. Show can get actually quite fucking hectic and deep with some of the shit that goes on with this person's body. This person
God, that cancer episode was crazy.
Yeah, this person has the worst luck. This one person that they exist inside. Like, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Well, keep in mind, dude, every human, all of us, are constantly fighting cancer. Like, we all have it, we get it, it goes away. Everyone, you've had cancer in your body's killed it successfully. It's when it can't fight it or it fails at fighting it that it becomes a problem. But everyone fights cancer cells constantly. Oh, yeah. All a cancer cell is a mutated cell, one that can't function. And then that one cell that can't function divides and creates more cells that can't function. And your body's supposed to find those broken cells, those mutations, and destroy them. So that's not out of the ordinary. Whatever the fuck happened to him in the last few episodes, I don't know if he was fucking kickboxing in the Sahara or what.
Straight up.
Yeah, this person gets fucking annihilated. Another cool thing is I've heard
wrestling rabid pumas.
They have, it'd be cool to see from the future, they have spin-offs of this show. They have a Cells at Work Black, which refers to more adult themes like sex, ejaculation, stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they have a Germs at Work, which it follows all of the germ side, how they try and infiltrate the body and stuff like that. And then they have another one, which was like, I don't remember what the idea is, the premise is, but I know that there's a Cells at Work Black, which is, again, older topics, older ideas, and then I
hope it's still handled with that same, like, innocent
levity
charm, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be cool. Although I have seen the design.
It's not done perversely. It just talks about it like it talks about everything else. Because the whole show, the entire selling point was the charm and the detail and the medical stuff.
I'm not too sure because, like, I know that the white blood cells in that show are females, and they all got like big boobles and stuff like that. You know, like how anime does it.
I'm sold.
Antony's like, what's this called again?
I'm sold. Sign me up.
So again, awesome show. Highly recommended if you just want something that's not too serious. It's on Crunchyroll, so it's super easy to get into, super easy to watch. You can watch it practically anywhere. And I highly recommend it. I would give it dead ass, not even fucking around. I think that what this show set out to do, it did, and it did very well. I can't sit there and think of an issue with this show in its current state. Like from what I've ingested, I think it was, for what it tried to do, it did it masterfully. So I give this show 5 adorable little platelets out of 5. Antony, what about you? What would you give this show?
Wait, out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 5.
Shit. Man, definitely not 3 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5.
4.5 out of 5. 4.5. You got to add something though. I did the platelets. 4.5 out of 5.
What do you mean? What? Oh, what out of the show? Okay, sorry.
It's dead.
The sleep deprivation kind of like just hit me all at once right there.
Like a wall.
It was literally a wall. So, what am I? Am I giving a rating to the show or something specific about the show?
No, to the show.
4.5 out of 5.
Okay, that's fine. I'll leave that. Shawn, what about you? Shawn, what I'm talking about.
I give it 4 ouchie boo boos out of 5 band-aids.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Like something that referred to the show in your rating. Like I said, 5 adorable platelets out of 5. Yeah, you got
Oh.
Do you got one now?
No.
Okay, we'll move on. All right, and then one more we have that only really me and Shawn watched was Hanebado. It is a show.
Best breasts in anime ever.
It's a show that's about badminton. The whole show's badminton. Now the thing,
and shuttlecocks.
And shuttlecocks. The whole thing about the show, interestingly enough, and it's most likely because they didn't have enough time, is that the original focus was more on the characters playing the sport, and their motive was the sport, the way that they interacted with each other. Because there was never really a huge dive into the sport itself. Because a lot of times, what like more of the shonen side of sports animes will do, that aspect, what they usually do is like, oh, this is it. They'll go like super deep into explaining how to play the game, give you an idea of the characters during the match, what they're thinking of. Like that's one thing that me and Shawn praise Haikyuu for, is that in the time that they're playing the match, you get to see exactly what's going through their head and the thought process that's just what we would normally do subconsciously, but because it's a show, we're getting more of it given to us as exposition. You get to see exactly what goes subconsciously in that player's head as they play. This show doesn't do any of that. I mean, it does a little bit here and there, but a lot of it is more on the drama and the characters.
It kind of goes. I mean, it does some of that for sure. It does. I'd say a fair amount, but it's definitely more of a drama than it is a sports anime.
I think the most we ever received from that was
sports drama.
The last match, because a lot of it, the match, you'd get a few shots here and there, and then the match would be over actually quite quickly. They usually didn't last very long, but it existed. It just wasn't to the level that you'd see.
They spent more time out of a match, developing characters than they did in a match.
Yeah. And I think the problem that we have, this show fell short for me. For
sure.
And I think one of the issues here is I've heard that the manga is actually quite good. One of the problems is that the show, I don't think, had enough time. I don't think they took the proper time to develop the characters' motives. Like, there's some characters that me and Shawn, they do something and we're like, why? Why the fuck did you just do that? And then it'd be almost as if they shoved in a little bump in the road on this one character's journey to create drama, just straight up create drama. Yeah. And then they'd go back and kind of explain it later, and then you're still not entirely sure of that character's motive. So it became incredibly hard to actually like some of the characters in the show when they were still being rooted for by the rest of the cast. So I found it weird. I only had one character I was actually even ever voting for, which was Shawn's incredible floppy booby lady that he liked, and that was
no, you understand. Nagisa. They're not super floppy. They move like just the right amount. Like her breasts are fucking amazing.
It's crazy because
you don't understand, Antony. Her breasts are like miracles of life.
I'm gonna show Antony the first episode after the podcast.
I saw the first episode. I've seen the.
You saw that fight, that first thing, and how they move realistically.
I've seen the first like 4 episodes, 5 episodes.
Oh, okay, so you saw the first episode?
Yeah.
How her boobs moved.
Glorious.
Why are we talking about this? Okay, that's
because it's the 69th episode. Come on now.
God fucking damn, I'm not escaping that, dude. But I still enjoyed the show. Just again, you can see that it could have been done better. Like they could have spent more time developing motive, especially since the main purpose of the show was to be the character interaction, that focus, kind of like what Haikyuu does. But Haikyuu does a much better job of establishing motives, establishing characters, and creating that relationship between them. Whereas Hanebado, I think, is just like, shit, we got to fit this all into 13 episodes. we're gonna have to cut some shit here and there.
Yeah, there was a lot of just unrealistic character development, or characters that just behaved certain ways, and they were kind of fudging. Like, just believe it, guys. Just believe it's a reason. But I will say they did successfully give you the most realistically hateable parental figure that I've seen in a long time.
What
like,
a bitch.
You relished loathing this ragged cunt. Like, she was just the most evil, disgusting, giant, raging piece of useless human trash.
Yeah. Basically, I don't know if you ever got to that point, but one of the girls, Io, the one that's like, she's shorter and she joins the team, Antony.
What?
Io, the girl that joins the team eventually.
The one that didn't want to join at the beginning.
Yeah, she has the weird. Did
you like that?
Yeah, nice. Yes, I know
who you're talking about.
Her mother basically leaves her to go do badminton, another thing, and practically adopts another girl. So completely dumps her. Yeah, leaves her with her grandparents.
Go mom some other kid in Denmark.
Yeah,
dumps her.
The hell?
So and tell him why this fucking bitch dumped her kid.
She wanted her to get better at badminton.
Yeah, and to not play. Bear in mind, she's a little girl when her mom fucking splits.
Like 7 or 8.
This
Holy crap.
Plays badminton because her mommy likes it. She plays it so she can play with her mother. So her mother abandons her so that she will learn to play badminton for herself.
Wow, what a shitty mom.
I know, right? Yes, one of the worst anime moms.
That would be put up there.
I would bitch. Kyle would look into the comments and he'd be like, dude, she's got to be like the most hated. I mean, like half the comments are all about how much people hate her.
Yeah, everyone fucking hates her, but she's a bitch. So she's like just like a completely detestable person, like awful person. And
and never redeems herself whatsoever. But yet at the end of the anime, Ayane is like, I love you, I forgive you, everything's good. Fuck you, Ayane. Stab the bitch. When she falls asleep, cut her throat.
God, now I do like I could see someone finding problem with that just because how fucked up Aino was throughout the course of the show, and she does take quite a drastic shift once she does discover why she's playing badminton, which again was all quite quick.
Yeah, in the last 5 minutes of the last episode.
Yeah, it was all quite quick, and again the show fell flat in some areas. So So again, it all kind of feels convoluted. It's to kind of like push the story forward to get a nice happy ending kind of thing. Again, I think there was time constraints here. But otherwise, the animation was quite good in the actual badminton matches. I thought they did a good job portraying like the speed and like it was cool. I thought it was pretty good. The music in the show was all done like, I don't know if it was actually an orchestra, but it sounded like it was all done through like an orchestra. So it all was almost like practical like movie level music. It's all very well done. I thought that was really good. So the production value was quite good for this show. It's just I feel like the storytelling fell short. They weren't able to fully translate it into an anime from the manga. Again, time constraints, budget constraints. I don't know what caused it.
So you think that if they made it like longer, they could have done a better job at portraying that?
It all depends on how they did it, because the problem was these issues we were seeing pretty early on into the show, like episode like 6 or 7 or something like that. So I think, yes, if they had more time, it would be up to them to do it properly, because for all we know, they could add like fucking 5 episodes of them at the beach or whatever. It all depends on how the director does it. But I think if they took the time,
fan service episode.
If they took the time to make the motives for each character more realistic and concrete and stuff like that, I think it would have been overall a pretty decent sports show, because I still enjoyed it, even though half the enjoyment was me and Shawn raging at it together. But it was still an okay show. I still was excited to watch it each week to see how the drama was going to diffuse and shit like that. So I would have to give it... I'd have to give it three bouncing badminton titties out of 5. I think a 3 is a solid thing here. It really fell short quite a bit. What about you, Shawn?
I give it 2 perfect breasts out of 5. And I give it a 3 out of 5. I give it. Oh no, here we go. I give it 2 perfect breasts and some very well animated and a set of very well animated calves out of 5.
I give it 1 shuttlecock out of 5 shuttlecocks.
Nice. It is like
only because I only watched like the first 3-4 episodes.
It's okay. I think it's kind of worth the watch if you've already taken the time to invest in it. Give it a 1 out of 5. It is.
Right. I only gave it 1 out of 5 because I don't know the rest of it.
Both those shows are on Crunchyroll. You can watch them there. We got new shows actually coming out this season.
Zombieland Saga.
Some pretty good ones.
Zombieland Saga.
Zombieland Saga was quite funny. Antony's seen that show, Shawn. He enjoyed it quite a bit.
God, I almost fell out of my chair the first minute of the show.
Shit was
God.
What you just
loved it.
Fucking reamed by the truck. Me and Shawn were like, this is too happy, dude.
Screaming proceeds.
Yeah, I thought. We also watched. Have you seen The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime? I recommend that. It's on Crunchyroll. It's
what?
Interesting. The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Watch it. It's interesting. We can watch it tonight after we're done with the podcast. If you're
how many episodes are out? 2, 1?
Just 1. Everyone's at 1.
Okay.
And also another show I recommend. It's funny because I've seen a lot of bad, negative press around the show. Obviously, because it's a little bit of a touchy topic. But Goblin Slayer came out. The first episode of Goblin Slayer came out. Me and Shawn watched it. It's fucked up. The show's fucked up, and it's pissed off people for some reason.
Yeah, bro,
like,
you're slaying goblins, like, it's fucking terrible.
It's a little bit worse than that.
Well, people knew that shit was going to happen when they said they were going to animate the manga, because I read the first few issues of the manga, and all I remember is it was ultra violent, but it lacked the depth of... There was some philosophical points it brought up, but it lacked the story depth of Berserk, but it had that same level of blood and gore. Like the comic was ultra violent. This show didn't have the same level of violence, but Berserk is very selective with how it presents the violence and what happens with each thing. Like the violence is intensely over the top to illustrate a point.
Yeah.
With Goblin Slayer, there's a specific act that is just demonstrated with a certain amount of... It's just vile.
Yeah,
and it's
really
extremely vile when it happens in Berserk. And they intensely just drench you with it and shock you with it. And very rarely do they flash back to that exact moment, except to illustrate the damage it's done to Guts. But in Berserk, when this specific thing happens, they want you to deeply understand how fucked things are and how scarred certain people are. And in Goblin Slayer, something similar happens. It's equal as vile because of what it is, but it's not as drawn out or dramatized. It's just like, it's there, it's gone, and it's so casual about how it's there that it just makes you feel disgusted. And I'm not complaining about the show because I expect the show to be good, but there's something off about it's just so casual. And like I don't even know, man. Like Berserk's a much better show, even
definitely.
With the shitty animation,
and
but
I think
because of the story. But with Goblin Slayer, the thing is the main character never takes his mask off.
He's bad.
He never gets any personality development. Yeah, the thing about the book is that's all the characters in that show are layered except for him. Like he is the same from start to finish.
Jesus Christ, Nancy. This man's like fucking hot micing like a bitch.
Deep throwing that mic.
Deep throwing that mic. I just look over at him. He's like breathing heavily into the mic. Jesus.
I get carried away.
He's
too enthralled. Yeah, I know.
Sorry. I have that impact on people.
I think a lot of what it attempted to do was subvert expectations because it starts as pseudo happy. It's like new adventurer girl, 15 years old. I'm gonna go save the world. Some people got kidnapped.
I told you that was gonna be bullshit.
Well, yeah, but it's the purpose of it. Again, I think what happens is intended to shock and disturb you. It's not the good thing. The good thing is none of it is done in a way that's supposed to be, like you say, titillating at all. None of it's done in a way that is supposed to be where it's like glorifying that act, glorifying those actions. None of it's done that way. It is all done in a way to fuck you up. It's to set you up for the show. 100%. That's the idea. It's going for the shock and awe. But the goal is they start the episode out new adventure girl's gonna set out with her squad, gonna go do a nice normal mission. It's an adventurer show. Even if you look at the picture that they have like for the show, it looks like that type of show. It's not like the Goblin Slayer covered in guts. It's like all the cute characters, all cute and stuff in the front. It's subverting expectations. That's the goal. The idea was to hit you in the gut as hard as it fucking could to let you know we're not fucking around. This is the goal of what this show is. It's gritty. It's supposed to be. And they punch you in the gut to let you know halfway into the show that, or like a few minutes in actually, but like this is not that type of show. And it's subverting expectations. So I could see why people would be mad because what happens is fucked up. It makes sense. But that's the goal. If you're getting mad, the director's doing his job because that's his intention. He's trying to, it's supposed to be like that thing.
He wants to entice these emotions out of you.
I don't understand why people are mad. Like that part.
I don't either.
Like,
I don't either.
It's supposed to make you upset. Is it not? It's supposed to bring out these emotions.
No, I don't. I think it was intended to anger people. It's intended to show you exactly how fucked up that world is.
But if you show someone something fucked up,
first episode is like, this is exactly how brutal this world is.
Yeah.
You know, in a sense, it was like it accomplished what that one I had you guys watch. It started with a G. It was so good.
Grimgar Fantasy and
the Isekai. Yeah, Grimgar. It accomplished what Grimgar accomplished. Only Grimgar did it with taste and poise and drama, and this just fucking brain rapes you with like how vile the fucking monsters in this world are.
Yeah, but again, I think it's worth the watch. The only other issue, I don't really have an issue. The only issue I had was the CG was shitty. Like they're like most of Goblin Slayer's movements were like computer generated. They weren't like hand drawn like the rest of the show is, which is it's a plus and a minus. If the whole show was that way, it wouldn't really bother me as much. But it's the fact that it's such like a difference between the hand drawn stuff and the CG that it sticks out like a sore thumb. If the whole show is that way, then okay, you're already set in that animation style for the rest of the world. But when you have like a lunking piece of metal that moves at like half the frame rate of the rest of the show, it feels weird kind of thing. But that's the only issue. That's something that a lot of people have problems with. Hopefully it doesn't persist. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see the rest of the story. I haven't really watched like a super gritty show in a while. So that's that. So yeah, Antony, you got to watch. We'll probably.
I'm definitely gonna take a look at it.
Yeah, Zombieland Saga was funny as fuck.
Oh,
I'm excited to see just more of that show because it's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
All right, we are so far behind, but hey, I knew this was going to be quite a lengthy episode. So, next thing, we have what to look for. We got some games coming out this week, boys. Disgaea 1 Complete is coming to PS4, Switch, October 9th, which will be the time this episode comes out. Hopefully, if I get it all done tonight. We have WWE 2K19 coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC October 9th. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Everyone Boo, respectively. Boo. It's fucking around. Hey, whatever. It's Call of Duty. People will buy it. I don't like Call of Duty.
I want to play the zombies.
The zombies?
That's it.
I've heard people say that. Some people just want to play the Battle Royale mode.
There's a Battle Royale mode?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm down for that.
Bro, where have you been? Under a rock?
Yes, basically.
Yeah, they have a Battle Royale mode coming out for it. Thing is, if I were to buy it for the Battle Royale mode, which is a genre that I'm like, I don't play it by myself. It's not something I play by myself. Something like everyone has to be on. I don't enjoy it by myself. But that'd be, if I was just playing, because I don't give a shit about the multiplayer and the campaign's literally thrown out the window. They have no story mode anymore. Then I'd be paying $60 just for
a multiplayer,
the Battle Royale mode.
Yeah,
because I don't play the multiplayer and the zombies. I'm not too keen on.
They seriously build in story mode?
Yeah, story mode's completely gone. There's no story mode for Black Ops 4. I mean, the Black Ops story wasn't really good, to be honest. Like, Black Ops 3 story was pretty shit overall. So I can understand for Black Ops, maybe. I don't know what.
Which one was the one where they introduced like the zombies and it was incorporated into this? Oh, what?
Antony's fucking dedicated here. You saw. Yeah, the original Black Ops story was good. The original storyline was good. The second one wasn't too bad either. The second
I liked 1 and 2.
Was ass.
What happens?
Well, the original Black Ops was the first time you had hope that like Call of Duty might redeem itself and not be a shitty fucking shooter sports game, and then they fucked that up.
Which one was the one where the main character had a bunch of numbers stuck in his head?
That was 1.
That was 1? That was my favorite.
What are the numbers, Mason? What do they mean?
The numbers.
Reznikov. Yeah, that campaign was quite enjoyable.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Just because they hinted at the fact, like, of Element 115.
Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying. All right, so that's that. Also, we finally have... this has got me really excited. The World Ends With You Final Remix is coming to the Switch October 12th. I didn't know it was this close. I just realized this, and I fucking copy-pasted this earlier. But The World Ends With You a remix is coming to the Switch on the 12th. So that's pretty fucking cool. I'll definitely be picking that up. So we have 2 articles to go over. Then we're going to go into our main topic. It's going to be something for Sorry, I just smacked the shit out of my mic. For Spooktober.
Where the fuck is Slime Ranchers?
Slime Ranchers is not out yet, dude. What do you want from me? Google when it comes out to PS4. Since we're moving into Spooktober, first, Shawn has to tell a story of why he ate ass. Once we know that, because it's episode 69, we're going to take our first steps into Spooktober. We're going to announce the event we'll be doing for the month of October. And we're going to be talking about what scares you. Your deepest fear, why you think you have it, and what do you think bred it, I guess, or breeded it? I don't know what the fucking word is. But what do you think caused it?
Bread.
Yeah, bread.
What do you think bred it?
Bread.
That just sounds so dumb. I don't know.
Because you're thinking of fucking bread, dude.
Just looked at
That's why it's like...
He's like, he's at it. He's like, it's because you're thinking of fucking bread, dude. Stop that shit.
Yeah, he just looked at me with the most serious face. Bro, it's because you're thinking of fucking bread. Like, chill, dude. Chill. Sorry. I didn't mean to think about bread. All right.
You already know what my fear is.
I love how fucking Kyle said that. He's got like this bitch.
All right. So first thing we have Fallout 76 beta. Here's when it starts on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This is by Timur Hussein of GameSpot. We've gotten a flood of new information on the upcoming Fallout 76, and you can read all about it in our hands-on impression. You check that out on GameSpot. If you're eager to try it for yourself, the Fallout 76 beta kicks off quite soon. As we previously heard, it will come to Xbox One before any other platform. It begins on Xbox One on October 23rd and on October 30th for PlayStation 4 and PC. In the FAQ for the beta, Bethesda stressed that its purpose is to stress test and break the game, which means that servers will be, quote, online during targeted time frames so we can get as many people as possible playing the game at a time. Although specific times have not been yet confirmed, the company said that the play sessions could last anywhere between 4 and 8 hours. Overall, the beta will go on until a few days before launch. Bethesda also said that players should expect things to go awry, as beta versions of games tend to do. Quote, the beta is a work-in-progress version of the game, it explained. During the beta, you will likely see a glorious array of issues, many we know about and many we don't. Our goal, with your help, is to identify and fix any issues that arise in preparation for the November 14th launch. So they have technically 3 weeks for Xbox and 2 weeks for PC, and or a little bit less than 2 weeks. So I think that's a decent amount of time to get servers at least working, and then a lot of the other bugs will probably come in post-launch patches.
It's not a good beta if there isn't anyone like spaghettiing across the map.
Yeah, dude, you kill a boss and it launches into the fucking air.
Fuck you guys, stop eating pasta.
It's still sitting over here in the corner. I have not been able to finish it after that
cool lava story.
Thanks for reminding me what the fucking thing was called, asshole.
But we need all your suggestions and feedback during beta at launch and proceed and beyond to make Fallout 76 the best experience possible now and for years to come. To play the beta on PS4 and Xbox One, you'll need a PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold membership. And since Fallout 76 is an online title, the final game will also require these subscriptions. The only way to get access on PC is directly from Bethesda. This game will not be on Steam. You do have to get Bethesda's launcher. They say that is to allow them to patch the game quicker, because normally with patches, the way it works, so I'm expecting the PC version of the game to be a few patches ahead of the Xbox One and PS4 version, just because, again, when they release a patch to make sure they're not sending a virus to every console in the world, PlayStation and Microsoft check the patch data that they send out. They scan it, and that usually can take a few days to get the patches out. So a lot of times, the same thing applies with Steam. So
it has to go through Steam first.
If you're going through Bethesda's launcher, they can supply the patch directly to you. Right. That's why the Warframe, although the versions are alike similarly, at least when it comes to features. When it comes to pushing out newer content, sometimes it gets to PC before it gets to Xbox One and PS4. Although I think they pretty much caught up on the version types. So the beta will weigh in at a 45 gigabytes and will not be available to preload. PC players will not need to re-download the game when it is officially released, but those on console will need to re-download a launch version. Currently, Bethesda is planning for progress from the beta to carry over to the full game. Fallout 76 launches in full on November 14th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And on PC, the game will only be available through Bethesda, blah, blah, blah.
What about that crossplay?
Okay, so they do have this here. On September 26th, Sony did announce crossplay functionality is being introduced to certain third-party titles, including Fortnite. However, Fallout 76 is not included among these titles yet. Damn. Bethesda's marketing boss, Pete Hines, said on Twitter, quote, "I work with a lot of devs and games for whom this is important going forward." Fallout 76 does not support crossplay for a number of reasons. I have no idea if it ever will, but I assure you it is not on our radar right now as we focus on beta and launch. Thing with that, I think a lot of that, it's easier for a game that has that built into it from early development stages, but with this just recently happening, I can't see it coming to 76 anytime soon, especially since they just want to make sure the game's actually working first and then go from there.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't fault Bethesda for this. It's funny,
it's not a priority.
No,
you know?
It's funny, though, because Bethesda, like, taunted Sony. They're like, oh, yeah, dude, we'd have cross-play in 76 if just freaking PlayStation allowed it. And then here PlayStation allows it. And Bethesda's like, oh, shit. Wait a second.
We got to step up.
So, unfortunately, they kind of stepped on their own foot there.
Unfortunately, I had to leave the podcast here a little early.
Okay, man. Not a problem.
Yeah, no problem. But
I love you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I wish you guys stuck around the whole time, but it is what it is. I'll see you guys soon, hopefully. And if I were to leave you guys with something, it's gentlemen, remember to put the seat back down after you pee.
Fuck you. Can't tell me how to live my life. I'll pee all over the toilet.
I'm sorry I missed the ass eating story, but I'll be sure to listen to it soon.
Kick that bush for me, okay?
Yeah, dude. Make sure that ferret thing survived.
Yeah. I'm not going to fuck up that bush right now. But, all right. With that, ladies and gents, I bid you adieu.
All right, man.
You have a good night.
All right. Good night.
All right, so we have one more article, then we'll get on to our main topic.
Awesome.
This one's just something I thought was interesting. It's nothing too crazy in the news over this last week. Spider-Man has one of the highest platinum trophy completion rates for a PS4 game. 1 in 10 players have the Spider-Man Platinum Trophy, which says something about the quality of the game, I guess. This is by Jordan Ramey of GameSpot. For a AAA game, PS4 Spider-Man has one of the highest Platinum Trophy completion rates ever. As of writing this article, it's sitting at 10.2%. So about 1 in 10 players who pick up the game are grabbing every trophy for it. At first glance, this might not seem all that impressive. Yeah, fuck those drone challenges. Game Informer, for example, points out that there are games with a much higher rate, like Undertale, which is at 21.4%. However, when compared to PS4's other big-name exclusives, it's apparent that Spider-Man has a pretty high completion rate. According to Twinfinite, after Spider-Man, the next major PS4 exclusive with the highest Platinum Trophy completion rate is Horizon Zero Dawn at 6.9%, followed by 2018's God of War at 5.5%, Until Dawn at 2.9%, and Persona 5 at 2.4%.
Damn, people fucking platinum Persona 5.
You have to look, because Spider-Man's difficult, but a lot of it's just completion. You're just doing things. Same thing with Horizon Zero Dawn. They're not difficult platinums, so it's easy for people to say, hey, I'm going to go after this, especially when the game is fun to play. But like something like Persona 5 to have a 2.4%, Persona 5 is a bitch to platinum.
That's why I'm looking at you with this face of like disgust. It's like, wow, that's difficult. If you
don't set off from get-go to platinum the game, you will not do it in one playthrough. You have to play through the game again and platinum it. There are people that make it a one and all, do it all in one time completion thing for the game, where it's literally a spreadsheet where it tells you exactly what to do every day of the entire year that you play the game.
Damn, what?
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
So I didn't want to do that. Also, it was kind of after I got a computer. I don't know why, but my want to get trophies and shit completely, like, exponentially decreased. I didn't give a shit anymore. Like Spider-Man, I enjoyed what I played, but I didn't want to go out of my way to do shit that I thought was boring to continue to get the
Because
platinum.
you don't give a fuck about console anymore. It's got no value to you.
That's possible.
Sadly.
That's possible.
Impossible. That's exactly what it is.
The only thing that attaches me to console would be the people I play with on console at this point, which the exclusives, and the exclusives.
I want to be fucked when the PS4 comes out because you'll be like, whatever, I got Steam, eat ass.
Oh, the PS5, you mean? So. The thing is, I hope you don't
69!
I hope you don't get that shit right off the bat because it's going to be the same thing that PS4 went through. You're going to have a whole year where there's going to be nothing to do on the fucking console. It's going to
be backwards compatible.
I have heard about that. I've heard that you can play on the PS5.
This is a fucking mistake twice.
It's a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. But I've heard rumors; they haven't been confirmed.
If Sony is, I'm going on record right now. Sony is fucking asshole enough to fuck us again on the compatibility thing. I will jump ship and build a fucking computer.
Hell yeah, dude! I welcome it. I hope they don't.
I was pissed when they stripped it out of the PS3. I was uber pissed when they stripped it out of the PS4 and all the other stupid mistakes they made with that. They fucked me on the PS5. I'm going back to Nintendo and buying a computer. Fuck you.
Going back to Nintendo and buying a computer? What? Okay. What was I gonna say? Fuck. I've heard that the PS5 rumors. So it's allegedly possible that it will play not only PS4 games, but PS1 to PS4. So every game that PlayStation's ever released, I've heard, will be backwards compatible. Again, rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. I have no confirmation.
I would instantly buy it.
Yeah,
I'd pre-order it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that'd be so many fucking PlayStation games.
To be honest, that would be a good way of solving the problem I mentioned earlier of having nothing to do. Because then you'd have whatever game coming out for the PS4 for that first year that there's nothing on the PS5, and then you're just waiting with your whole library of PlayStation games. So that'd be a good way to solve that.
That's problem. How I ended up buying GTA 5 3 times.
Yeah, our Tyler that we play with, not the Tyler that was just here, but another one. He also has like GTA like 5 times.
Fucking damn it!
I have Destiny 2
That's
twice,
sad.
But I didn't buy my second copy of Destiny 2. I got it through a different means. I got them connections.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not gonna lie, dude. Destiny 2 on PC is a completely different game.
Yeah,
it is like fucking insane how different it is with like mouse and keyboard and 60 FPS. Like I
bet it looks beautiful.
Oh, it does. Did you ever see it? Because I still have it. I just don't have.
No, I've never seen it.
I don't have any of the new shit. We'll do like a fucking showcase after this.
I have the new what's it called?
Forsaken.
I have Forsaken. Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't played it, but
I've heard it was really good. The thing is
really good.
like the first year of Destiny 2 was not that good, or at least endgame content wise.
Why did you give Bungie money again?
I didn't.
No, me.
No, I'm talking to him.
Oh.
Because I like Destiny.
Do that.
I like Destiny.
Yeah.
I like Destiny too, but I don't like Bungie. And if we keep giving them money, they're going to keep producing the same shit.
I mean,
they're going to keep stepping all over the players. What happened to Solidarity?
Don't listen to him. Apparently Forsaken's actually good. So if that's the case, I think the base game for Destiny 2 was pretty good. Although the end game was horribly misguided and trashy. They've reconciled that mistake, but it's whatever. I've heard that there's been nothing but issues from the Destiny 2's development cycle. Team members jumping ship. The team that's working on Destiny 2 right now, Antony, there's no one from the team that worked on Destiny 1.
Really?
It's a brand new team, from what I've heard.
That's kind of promising.
I don't know, because Destiny 1 was good from Taken King on.
Oh, yeah.
But all those team members are gone. But it looks like, again, with Forsaken, it looks like they took a lot. They actually looked at the old, what made Destiny 1 good, which they apparently didn't do when they made Destiny 2. And they're like, we're going to step back into this, make it where endgame's more of a grind. This is what people want. People want a grind. That's the point of it. It's a looter shooter. You don't want to get all the coolest things within 3 days of playing, and now you're fucked because you have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they've reconciled it and people are enjoying the game, I mean, there's nothing I can really say. I mean, Hector's been talking about getting it if it ever goes on sale, and I don't know what will ever happen. But they might at one point do like what they did with Taken King. Here's the entire game for like $20. Just play our game, please.
Doesn't bother anyone that they fucking ripped people off on experience, and then they ripped people off on how long it took to gain boxes, and then they ripped people off and some other shit, all in fucking petty predatory attempts to get them to fucking spend money on microtransactions.
Oh, it does bother people.
Doesn't
That's why they stop
anybody.
playing.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
but they took a lot of my money.
Because of the fucking end game. I stopped playing because they were ripping us off.
Oh, well, I didn't know about... I stopped playing before I knew they were ripping us off, so it really didn't even affect me. But, I mean, it was a shitty thing to do, but...
What, the microtransaction?
No, they were doing a thing where they were reducing the amount of experience you gained as you played on, so it would take longer to get the loot box. You know, every level you'd get like a little...
And then they lied about it.
Microtransaction loot box and shit like that. Yeah,
right.
They did lie about it. Now,
they lied about it. How did the internet brought up screenshots to prove it? Like they did the math, and then they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, we're still working the system." And then they put the experience back, so you gained your experience normally, but then they doubled the amount of experience you needed for the loot boxes, so it was the same fucking thing.
They fixed the system, but just basically just made it harder.
I mean, yeah.
So it's back to square one.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know how it is in Forsaken now. I just know that Forsaken overall as a game is better. Again, I guess I don't fault anyone for playing the game. Destiny 1 did the same thing. That's the only thing that kind of bothers me. But again, with it being a completely different developmental team, I can't really say, like, point the finger at Bungie, besides for the other shit that they've done. But for the game being in its state, I can't really say, hey, you guys, why are you so stupid? You're pulling Nintendo here. You're feeding us the same shit, but it's a different team.
I want them to remaster Halo 3.
They had the Master Chief Collection.
I want them to remaster the remastered edition.
It'd be cool if they brought the remaster to PS or to PC.
Would it be a remaster, or would it just be like a completely new game at that point?
I know with the Master Chief Collection, they remastered everything. Oh, okay. I don't know about Halo 3. I know, but Halo 1 and 2 got a complete graphical overhaul.
Oh no, I have those, and they're beautiful compared to.
It's cool that you can just like press a button and you're in potato doo-doo land, and then you press another button and everything's pretty again. It's pretty cool. All right. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to our main topic. What scares you? Antony, we know kind of what scares you, but we're going to start with you. Do you have a deep, dark fear that you have difficulty dealing with? I want this to get personal. Just let it out. Let it out. I'm your psychiatrist for the next half hour. Let me know what scares you. Who touched you where?
Right here in my no square.
Oh no!
There were clowns.
Oh no!
Very scary clowns.
Yeah, it's a square.
Yes, it's a square.
Because it has to cover the gooch as well.
Yes, exactly.
So the square. Think of the square. It bends over. So I guess it's kind of like a half cylinder too, but it covers the gooch.
It's more like a cone than anything else.
Well, for a man, it's a cone.
Square, half cylinder, cone. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's more like a cone for a man, and then for a girl, it's like more like a half cylinder square.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. Well, as you already know, you too, Shawn, that clowns make me very, very uncomfortable.
Okay.
There wasn't any bad experiences with clowns. Man, you guys should have taken a video of that.
Ducking and fucking running when we walked through Killer Clowns Land. I never would have guessed. Or the weird squee noise you made when the one walked right up next to you. Squee! What are you doing, dude?
You know what scares me? People
I don't like clowns. I don't like clowns.
So you don't know where that
never
stemmed
heard a
from.
Being make that noise.
No,
before.
but if you really want to see me like have an absolute panic attack, just let's all go on a deep ocean like boat trip, and then just push me into the water and then
drive away.
I might have a heart attack. Like I can't deal with looking down into the water and not seeing the bottom, and then not knowing what's in the water too, because the ocean's really fucking big. There could be like fucking monsters down there. No one fucking knows, you know. But it might be an irrational fear too.
Down there, Antony.
It's like I know there's fucking fish down there, probably some jellyfish, some plankton, but it's like an irrational fear, like
fish, like jellyfish, because that's a fish. Because it says fish.
Fish, some jellyfish, those other big fish with teeth that eat other fish,
that
you know.
Thing that looks like a dick. Oh wait, that is a secret.
But yeah, if that's a really, really like, like it makes me mad thinking about it, because like it's irrational. It's irrational.
Oh my god.
I like to rationalize things, and I can't rationalize it.
You can't see. You're in an environment where you're not in your element. That's not an irrational fear. That's a very rational fear.
Well, no, it's because it's just water. You tread water, and it's the fucking ocean. Just lay on your back and you float, right? You're fine. You're not gonna drown. Nothing's gonna take you under.
It's more of a fear of the unknown.
No, but you might get eaten.
Yeah, but I could go into a cave, a dark cave that I've never been into, and be just fine.
Fuck you. That make me shit my pants.
I've done it before, and I was by myself, and I heard some really weird stuff. And what freaked me out the most is the deeper I got, the more shit I saw from the outside, like cardboard boxes and like trash and cans.
I was a hobo in that cave.
It's called homeless people live there.
Yeah, I was deep in the cave, dude. That guy probably had like no eyes and like fucking like fangs for teeth, for all I know. But it didn't bother me. I'm like, you know what? I don't have a knife or anything on me. So I'm just gonna walk.
You know what?
Walk back out.
It was a slinging slasher, dude.
Did you do this in DR?
Yes, I did do it in DR.
Fucking DR caves.
I thought so, because I'm like, there's no fucking caves in Florida except for that one up on the Panhandle. So it had to be DR.
Yeah, it was DR.
All right. Okay, I'll take that. But they just exist. They're a fear that's a fear of the unknown, fear of stuff like that, and you can't really pin to a specific point that, hey, this is when this was established. It's hard.
No, it's
a hard question.
I'm not really afraid of a lot of stuff. I don't know if that sounds like dumb, but
no, it's fine.
like
some people just aren't. Like I used to be afraid of the dark, and I'm not anymore. I used to be definitely afraid of the dark. But again, that was more of a fear of the unknown, just because I couldn't see anything.
That's what all fear stems from, the lack of understanding.
One more thing. What is one experience that you can recall that you can label one of the scariest things that has happened to you?
Killer clown, wow, wow.
No, I remember this also happened in Dominican Republic, and
obviously.
It was me and my brother.
Chased by a crackhead with a machete.
So he goes back to visit all the time, and it terrifies him.
It was like this playground. I don't know where we were. It was like some like out in the country, and there's like a playground, and it was a swing set. So I'm on the swing set, and I think it was my brother pushing me, and I decided to like jump off the swing. Now I guess there was construction going on, and we were little, and we were oblivious to our surroundings, and right in like not that far from the front of the swing set is just a pit, and it goes probably like 30 feet down, and it's just rocks at the bottom and some rebar. Scary stuff. And I jump off and I see the hole, and I'm like, fuck, I'm in the air and there's nothing I can do. Yeah. I hit the ground and I start sliding into the hole, and my brother comes and he grabs onto me and he pulls me back up from the hole.
Jesus.
I remember talking to him about it once. We brought it up, and we're like, yeah, I remember that time I almost died. Good times.
Good times.
You almost lost a brother.
I remember good old DR.
Yeah, but that one was like truly terrifying, because I could have just either ended up dead or like really, really, really badly hurt.
Yeah. Okay.
You do some smart stuff, man. Like, I saw this deadly pit and I jumped into it, and then my brother rescued me. Good story.
Good story.
What about you, Shawn? Do you have again?
What about me?
Whether you want to make it personal or not personal, just a fear that you have. What scares you?
You already know that one.
Wow, it's for the audience.
Didn't we answer this question before?
I don't think so.
I'm terrified of death. I am absolutely true phobia, to the point where it took me years before I could even say that, terrified of death. And there's very specific reason why, at least as far as I figured out. There's not a, I mean, I'm there in a sense, I'm kind of afraid of everything, because I am risk averse. Like, risque does not bother me, but real risk fucking freaks me out. But when it comes to things that I am fucking terrified of, because I haven't completely come, because I only find religion for brief periods of time to where I have faith in it, and then all of a sudden I slide back into agnosticism. Normally, if I'm in constant contact with somebody who is strong in something, it's easier for me to give my faith into it, but I spend most of my time alone. not willingly, and not because I am a leper, just because of shitty circumstances. So it's very difficult for me to maintain faith in much of anything, really. And when I don't even fucking remember how old I was. I think I was like 4 or 7 or something like that. My aunt, who was confined to a wheelchair, I think she had like cerebral palsy or something. You know, when your hands curl up and you can't talk right, you're like, that kind of thing. Like, that was her.
Okay.
And she had one of those remote control wheelchairs. And she was going to some special school for, you know, challenged people who can't do stuff right. Like, and it was like college or some shit like that. And when she was leaving to go have lunch or go to get lunch or some shit like that, there's a lake behind the school, and her wheelchair fucked up and drove her into the lake, and she could not lift herself out of the water. It was like 3 inches of water, and it killed her very badly. And she drowned out in the open where kids are everywhere fucking eating or chilling out or sunning themselves or fucking in the bushes or whatever. And the chair just dips her into fucking shallow ass water. And I think I'm 4, mind you. Now, bear in mind, I have a genius level intellect like Batman and Dr. Wily. So I'm already considering things that a 4-year-old normally wouldn't think of. And I'm sitting here. First thing that pops into my head is what was going through her head, like the sheer panic, the desperation that somebody sees her, that somebody's going to come and help her, and then the resignation that it's all over, and then you dim out, and then you're unconscious, and then you're dead. And then what happens after you're dead? And all of a sudden, at 4 years old, I'm trying to conceive of myself not existing, and then that leads to another 20 to 30 years of panic. Whenever considering it, which is why I always try and have fun and why I act so silly and stupid. Well, there's another reason why I act silly and stupid, but one of the reasons is to keep my mind off of thinking of the fact that, you know, you never know if there's going to be no tomorrow. That's a severe problem for me. I think that's also why I'm so risk averse, and why one of the 2 major reasons why I have a difficult time making choices and moving forward and adulting. As for other fears, you know, I've got a few normal ones. You know, like I'm really terrified that I'm not going to find another person. The whole "you complete me" deal. I mean, I wouldn't say it's terrified, but it's something where in the back of my head, I'm kind of afraid that that's real. Like that I'm not going to find somebody that I'm going to be happy with. You know, I've always been a relationship person. I've always.
Oh.
Hold that thought, Shawn, because we can't hear you.
Shawn.
What?
Oh, I said hold.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Now you're here.
We lost you halfway through that sentence.
What sentence?
You're more of a relationship type person.
Well, some people, like, I already figured out that I can do life somewhat okay on my own. I am an extrovert and an extremely social person. What I prefer to be doing is what we did a week ago. You know, going to Halloween Horror Nights and going out to places, or going to friends' houses and playing board games or video games, or just fucking around or whatever. But because of my circumstances, I don't get to do that. So you're taking an extreme extrovert and forcing him into an introverted lifestyle, which is horrible. But I could tolerate that if I had a partner with me, somebody to share in life's adventure. And it's very frightening to me to look at the rest of life without having someone to share that adventure with. Whether it's easier when you've got a lot of friends around, and I used to have like 40 plus friends that I was always out doing something with, but now they're all in different parts of the country, or they're working all the time, or they've, you know, got families, and all of a sudden they don't have time for anything else, which is an absolute farce. You actually do have time. It's just how much energy do you have, how much can you devote it to, and who fills that energy back up when you're around them. And apparently I'm not one of those people. But that's something that scares me, is that I'm not going to find anybody while I'm still young enough to enjoy finding somebody. And but the death thing is the big terror, which is probably one of the reasons why I I get so immersed in forcing myself to watch horror movies and do things like ride roller coasters and jump out of airplanes.
I got you. I'm thinking. I don't have anything that goes that deep. I'm thinking. I also do share the fear of deep waters, and actually I have an event I could go back to that I think caused that initially. Is we were at the beach, very young. It was me and my sister and my cousin Richard, and we were out on a sand lot kind of thing. You know how like they have the water, it goes deep, and then there's like a little like mini island, like a few feet out or whatever. So we were on the edge of that, and we started sliding into the water. The water was deep, and we were being pulled by the undertow. The
outgoing tide?
Yeah, or whatever. Is it the undertow? The undertow is what pushes you underwater, right? I don't know how it fucking works, but the water hits the land and then goes right back out to the ocean. We are getting pushed back. We're being pulled into the ocean.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And my cousin, he was like probably like 16 or something at that time, maybe younger, but he had grabbed both of us, and he was slipping too. And all I hear him is going like, oh shit, and we can't even touch the floor, and we were literally being sucked out. And then eventually got a good enough hold, and he brought us both back in. But like that scared the fuck out of me. Like I got as far up onto the land as I could and sat on a towel the rest of that day, like for the next like 3 hours or something like that.
Shit.
I was not touching the water after that, and I don't think that's a reason why I don't like beaches, because I'll go to a pool and I'll be fine with that. I just don't like the cons that come with going to a beach, like the stickiness, the sand everywhere and shit like that, and the car ride home, everyone being kind of like fucking nasty and stuff. I don't like that con. I don't like that. I don't think the beach provides enough to make that worth it. I'd rather just go to a pool, and I'll enjoy that just as much. But I do have a fear of like deep water, just for that, not for the things that run underneath, but the thing of drowning, especially drowning when you're not with anybody, by yourself, drowning kind of thing like that. That scares me. When it comes to actual horror, I guess that affects me. One thing that affects me is anything that kind of goes along the lines of, what's it called? Where it like tapers between like surreal and realistic. There's like a valley. The Uncanny Valley.
The Uncanny Valley.
Stuff like that. Like shit. Yeah, it fucks with me how like when things like when something has like sometimes horror movies utilize like a shutter effect on a monster or just anything, or things that don't move through their limbs, like they float around but they're still humanoid. Like shit that kind of falls into that, where it's partially surreal and partially realistic. Those things fuck with me, especially when it comes to like little kids or shit like that. That always gets me really badly. That's why that stuff fucks with me heavily. I can't handle that. That stuff scares me.
Like a mannequin that just kind of like doesn't move. It has like slightly like it looks human, but it's not entire. There's something like off about it, and it doesn't move like a human.
I think one thing that have you ever seen Jacob's Ladder? They have a monster in Jacob's Ladder.
God, that movie's
that utilizes a shutter effect kind of thing. The movie itself, it's more of like a psychological thing. It's not just straight horror, but there's a monster in there that
it's 100% psychological horror.
Yeah, and there's like a shutter effect to it where it moves unnaturally, basically, like stuff like that. Like the monster from PT, the lady, the way she shifted around.
Oh, that made me really uncomfortable.
Like every horror movie from like the past 20 years.
But not everything does that. But
and there's certain degrees to it too.
The Haunting did it. You know why they do that, right?
Oh, because it fucks with you.
Yeah, no, there's a specific reason why they started doing that.
What's the reason?
Was there one movie that did very well that utilized that?
No.
That's usually how shit happens.
The idea is that spirits don't exist on our plane of existence, right? They're on a parallel level. Like existence is like a cake. All right? There's different layers to the cake, only in reality all of those layers of the cake are in the same layer. They're in the same spot. They all exist. in the same exact area, the same exact space, but they're still layers. They just all overlap. And so if you raise your consciousness 1 or 2 layers, you still see this world, but it looks different. Like, because you're not existing on the same time moves differently for you. If you were to lift yourself, like, say, 3 layers into a parallel reality, like 3 layers up, and you looked into our world, because you would still see it because you're still very close, but you're not in our reality, people would stutter step. It's like watching a movie where they take out frames because you can't perceive all of the movements. You're only getting bits and pieces of the movement. So the idea is that spirits live on a parallel level that's just a few steps away from ours. So you can see them sometimes if they get close enough, or to the barrier, to the skin between the levels, but you can't perceive their movement smoothly. It's not like in old school ghost movies where you see it slowly walk across the halls. The basic idea is that with that stutter step thing that you see is the bits that you can see. They actually are moving smoothly, and it may even be rapidly, or maybe they're just walking normally, but to us it's rapid because they're moving on a different time. It doesn't matter. You're only able to visually catch moments, and then the other ones you can't see. So they started doing this thing in horror movies where, like, it'll be at the end of the hallway and just be like, and it's right up in front of you. Number one, it's terrifying, and number two, it's because you can't visually perceive their full range of movement. That's the sort of science behind it.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, that fucks with me. I'm thinking, I do kind of have a fear of heights. Yeah. Like, because we had to do something in boot camp where you're in gear and you jump off of. It wasn't. Every time I think back to it, I think 2 stories, but I don't know if it necessarily was. I know the building itself was 2 stories high, but it's like something you would do, like even at like a lifeguard training. But you basically jump off of full gear, and when you land in the water, since you're so heavy, you sink. So you have to take all the gear off. So it's kind of like a mix of 2 major fears: sinking and drowning, and jumping from like a high spot. So right. So that was something that I had to mentally push through. That was a difficult day. But yeah, heights fuck with me really badly. Even like if we go like, because we can get out to we have a 2-story house, and you can get out from my bedroom onto the roof of the 1st story. Even from there, I've been up there before, that height scares me. And a fall from there could be fatal, but you'd have to fall in a particular way for it to be. Yeah. But it still is like, what if? A lot of my fears become irrational because they turn into what ifs. I overthink a lot of stuff. I'm very paranoid when it comes to that. And that's when I let it get there, because it's not always like that. I have to let it get to that point. That's why I think blood fucks with me so much, because it's not just the fact that I'm seeing it. It's the fact that my mind runs into playing a scenario where it's happening to me and I'm dying. And that causes me to faint. Same thing when it comes to injuries. Like the scenario plays in my head of that happening to me. And just the blood decides to exit my brain and go to my toes, and it's like, fuck you, you're going night-night. Good night. So I overthink a lot. Like I'll have times where I'll be, like when we were in high school sitting in class, it'd be like, especially, it was weird because it was before things like this were super prevalent, although they've happened before. But like, what if someone broke in and had a gun? Like, what would I do in that situation? So I'm just constantly overthinking dangerous situations.
Take your fucking phone, chuck it at them.
Yeet it.
Hope that it hits them, and then charge them. Yeah. Either which way, you're dead. So you gotta try something.
I was thinking a lot more along the lines, like, if you know there's an active shooter in the school, like, barricade the door, get everyone to, like, away from windows or to a corner or something like that, and just constantly brain running to that degree. And the same thing happens, and not as much day to day now, just because I'm more busy with other shit. But thinking about it, if I do, I'm sitting down, like if I'm in school, I'm sitting down, what if this happened? What if this happened? And my brain will run into like rampant paranoia, and I won't necessarily scare myself, but I'll become so deep in that thought that I just lose sense of time. I'm not listening to what's going on, and it's all in an effort to solve that situation that's going on in my head. And I do that often. I think that leads to, again, the other issues with the blood and stuff like that. And that stuff, I would say to a degree, death scares me. I think to a degree it scares everybody. It's not to the point of what's after death, more to the fact that with death being there, you're gone. So when you think about the stuff that you weren't able to do in your life, so it's more of that, like the stuff that you're missing out on.
I would say that would be the same for me. Like, I'm not scared of dying. It's more like,
the absence of life. You're missing out on things that you could have done, or living. It's more of the fear of not living a full life or a worthwhile life, not the what's after death. More.
Yeah. That's when I come back and haunt your ass,
bitch. Fuck you.
Man, I couldn't get married, so you know what? I'm gonna haunt your ass because I'm a ghost now.
Yeah, that is that easy. I'm a ghost now. What the fuck? Like he's like it's like real quiet, like super quiet at night, and all you're laying in bed.
Bitch.
You hear something fall over in the night, and all you hear is
like,
all you hear from
trying to sleep. Yeah.
All you hear from the hallway is like, "I'm a ghost now."
Yeah, and then every so often you hear, "Eat a dick."
That could have easily happened the other day.
What do you mean?
Going down the stairs.
Oh yeah. No, Antony was trying to leave. Last time we recorded, when he came over, we were trying to get out of here. We had hung out for a bit upstairs playing games and shit, and he was leaving, and I hear something banging down the stairs, and I turn around, and Antony's like completely facing the opposite way of as if you were falling normally, like his back was to me, and his arms and legs were sticking out trying to grab whatever was in the vicinity, and I just look at his eyes, and it's just like wide. He's like, damn. It's just like it's being so quiet because it was like 2 a.m, and all I hear is this man bumbling down the fucking stairs.
But I could have easily just like, oh, there you go, broken neck, gone.
I'm a ghost now.
I'm a ghost now. Prepare yourself.
That's all I hear, like in your like final breaths. I just see like
you know
your
what
soul.
He's gonna do when he turns into a ghost? He's just gonna float around and whisper "Nova Bomb."
Oh, yeah. As his soul is escaping his body. I'm a ghost now. All right. One thing. What do we think about Halloween this year? All the kids are gonna be dressed as Fortnite characters.
Fucking stupendous.
It's gonna happen. I'm calling it right now.
I know
that kid's not getting candy from me. Go home and play Fortnite. Show me that you've gotten a Victory Royale solo, and I'll give you candy.
Yeah, they're such assholes when you play with them. I've played with them.
That's what you're cringing about.
They're complete dicks.
That's because they're little kids.
They're dicks.
Little kids are assholes.
They're
I wasn't a little
absolute assholes.
I was a little asshole when I was a kid. I stole games from my family members. I already explained that story once.
No, but I would play and like they would wait behind me to open a box and then take an orange gun and then taunt me with it. Be like, I took your gun. I'm completely silent because I'm like, I'm not going to play into your fucking game. But the rest of the game, they're just taunting me. It's like, hey, I took this, I took it. And then I go open another box and they come out of nowhere and take another orange gun. And I completely lose my shit. That's really aggravating.
Fucking bad. I've got my pen like 5 times.
Please put a pen dropped counter at the very top of the podcast. It just... Please, that'd be amazing.
Someone makes an alternative YouTube account, the pen tracker or pen drop tracker, and every day he'll listen to every podcast episode on YouTube. He'll leave a comment. Pens dropped by Kyle, 25, as of this episode or some shit like that. Okay, I think that was good. We'll go ahead and call the episode there.
Hell yeah.
No analingus story.
Oh yes, Shawn. Thank you for reminding me. How'd you eat ass that one time? I want to know.
I'm very curious.
I never said I stopped. If the chick's into it, I don't have a problem. I just make sure I watch how she watches that shit first. But the first time it happened,
whiff, like, yeah, that's a dirty ass, right?
Yeah, you see how she cleans her ass. Then after the shower, you eat it, or you eat it in the shower and finger her while you're doing it. But I was with my girlfriend at the time. We'll call her
Baseball.
Sandrinus.
Baseball. I like that. So her name's
Yeah, we'll
Baseball?
call her Baseball.
Okay, thank you. Fucking
Caitlyn. And we were making out, and then she has this old ass fucking car. It's like a fucking pier. This thing's got like 2 huge ass bench seats, so we fucked in the car like more often than anywhere else. And we're parked at my old house alongside the driveway, and we used to bang there a lot too. And she decided to go down on me, so she's leaning over from the driver's side into my junk, doing her thing. Now, I don't have a lot to do at this point. So I'm like trying to reach around and grab something, you know, like play with her boobs, or I can't reach her vajay because she's sitting on the damn thing. So I don't remember who came up with the idea. I think it was me. I was like, hey, why don't you drape yourself over the seat? And that way I can reach up and play with your fun bits. And so she has her vajay sitting on the top of the seat and her legs hanging over the back, and I'm reaching up between her, you know, legs doing fun bit stuff. And then it just gets closer and closer and closer to my face, and then I realize what she's kind of basically inching her
like
her hips over
to
wrap
her
them
ass, like in front of your face.
Basically, yeah. Like she's slowly inching, because I mean she was a singer, and she was all like she wasn't like muscle like a bodybuilder was muscle, but she was curvy, but there was not a lot of fat on her, except for her boobs. And so she just kept shimmying her hips over until her legs were wrapped around my face, and I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay,
that kind of reminds me of something.
Right,
of a story.
It reminds me of a story that revolves
seat, right?
Musk and pepper chilies.
And this was probably the only one of like 2.5 girlfriends that were any good at giving oral sex. Like most chicks just don't do it well, and you act like it's nice because it's the thought that counts, and you find the thought enough of a turn on that you don't care. You just let them do it for a little while and move on to something more fun.
That's what the back of the throat's for.
Well, baseball knew how to make that shit fun, and baseball was going to town, and so she was very distracting. Now, I'm normally very good at staying focused on the prize, but she did something where, like, my precision slipped, and I shot from her clit all the way back and just went right over her butthole. Now, up till this point in time, I had one friend that would eat ass, and I used to always make fun of him and talk about how disgusting and dirty it is, which technically it is. You know, and I was like, dude, I'll never fucking do that. Well, when my tongue brushed over her brown eye, dude, like, and I mean just gently flickered past the starfish, she went all the way down. I mean, like, all the way. Like, her upper lips wrapped around the bottom of my balls. Like, she swallowed shit that wasn't supposed to be physically possible. Like, it was so fucking intense and awesome, and such a reward for me accidentally skating across her booty hole, that I was like, fuck it, and I just went to town, and best blowjob I ever had. So from that point forward, it just moved on into a thing that I did with some people because the rewards outweighed the disadvantages.
Okay, beautiful. I'm glad we shared that story.
That's the story. So yeah, now I am an ass eater.
All right, good to know.
Yeah, I've opened my eyes, my friend.
I'm telling you, dude, the results can be astounding. My only suggestion to everyone is first of all, make sure you know that they clean that shit super well, which I knew. And second of all, Listerine afterwards. Don't swallow.
You know, does anyone ever swallow Listerine? They're not supposed to.
No, well, you know, there's got to be some idiot that fucking swallows it. Just gargle really well, brush your teeth, do your thing. But it's fucking, if it's the right situation that calls for it, fucking do it.
All right, I appreciate your story. All right, so before we go,
you're welcome.
We're going to call this episode 69. What a doozy it has been.
It really has been a doozy.
But we're going to go ahead and bring it to a closer. As always, let me get some outros. Shawn, what about you?
Hugs and kisses and all your pink parts. I love you guys.
Antony, what was it?
It's Monday, so show me some memories.
Okay. I'll take it. All right. And before we go, I shall leave you all with a thought. They never said, beam me up, Scotty, on Star Trek.